All right,
Cool.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode we're gonna have multiple breaks. It's gonna be like an ultra long holiday
Yeah,
episode.
for sure. People can use it to escape from their family and
Yes.
hide out in the bathroom and listen to us.
100%. Yes.
Maybe yeah.
And listen, if you're a patron, you just got 8 beers to help you deal with that bullshit. You just
for
got
sure.
8 beers to help you. Bring those with you. That's what they're for. Those are your emergency escape beers.
Yes.
Just listen, just grab
like
one of
that.
these emergency escape beers. Just pull this tab in case of emergency.
Oh, we'll stay out late to gastrobate and hang out with our friends. We'll share a few good microbrews, the good times never end. From seaside to the mountains, we'll travel many lands. Eateth of their pub cuisine and hear their local bands. We'll drink it from a bottle, in a can, or what's on tap. We'll rate each brew as we do with fairness and a map. Spirits are up, we'll fill our cup, the wind is in our sails. We'll drunkenly mix metaphors and travel hoppy trails.
Welcome back to Hoppy Trails, a show where when it comes to Thanksgiving, that turkey's not the only thing getting stuffed.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis. And man, we are doing a little Thanksgiving special today. We're out here with interesting hats on. Can you see mine? Let me duck it in
Gobble
there.
gobble.
Gobble gobble, as they say. Yeah, Nick, you've got.
We're not always
on your
here
head.
to talk about beer.
No,
but tonight or today we're here to talk about how to add more gobble to your wobble.
That's right. That's right. A little more gobble in the wobble. That's right. Well, I'm actually gonna let me pull this over here. This bottle's been sweating, just sitting there waiting for me. Sweating with anticipation. I'm going to crack this thing open. This is Brother Thelonious. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of glare on the bottle from this massive light.
I'm very familiar with Brother Thelonious.
Brother Thelonious, North Coast Brewing, right? Independent since 1988. This was one of my first craft beers that I was exposed to, just because it didn't always come in a bottle exactly.
I think it might have been you that exposed me to Brother Thelonious.
Nick, I always love when people say that I was the one exposed to them, or how do you say that? Yeah, it had an interesting bottle, and back in the day when I was getting into it, I'd buy them. Well, I mean, kind of like I do now. Interesting bottle, unique label art. I mean, I still do. But this bad boy here is a Belgian style Abbey Ale. Proceeds from sales of Brother Thelonious go to supporting jazz education. So they actually use this to pay money to public school jazz education programs, buy instruments, things like that. And it's an excellent beer. North Coast Brewing, obviously, they've been around forever, 1988. And yeah, they just make a quality beer. So I'm gonna crack this open. Nick, what are you having there?
I've got a Public Coast Brewing Company Coconut Brown Ale.
Public Coast, I'm not familiar.
This was something that a very good friend of ours brought me a while back. I've actually been sitting on it for a little bit. It's a brown ale. Oh wow. I'll let you guess when this was canned on. It's a little old.
When was it canned?
Exactly a year ago. And sometimes with the canning date that they've got stamped on there, sometimes they'll throw in like a little random phrase. This one is coconuts. It actually is that. There's like 7 Z's on the end of that coconut. But yeah, it's
ooh. That was a good one, man. Ooh,
that was juicy.
How's the carbonation level on that? That I heard that. I felt that. I felt
Dude,
that, man.
I had to slow it down there because I thought it was gonna get all over my microphone.
Hey, check this out that I just picked up. This glass right here. Oh man, the
nice.
is killing me. So it says, fucking Catalina Beer Share, right? From Step Brothers. This is Proper Pints, and on the back he's got his logo at Proper Pints, and it says Boats and Hose.
That's amazing. Excellent.
Saw him on Instagram. It had a post that said, look, these ones are on clearance, only a couple are left, hit me up and we'll get them going. I immediately sent him a DM, said I'll take one of these, one of those, one of these over here, and he fired them off immediately. In less than a week I had these on my doorstep. So I've got this one, I've got 3 others that are kind of fun that you'll see on the social media. But
that is some good speedy service.
Yeah, absolutely. Just threw them in a box, sent them out. I didn't have to wait at all. I was really stoked. They were here before I even thought about it. But look at this right here. There's that Brother Thelonious,
Oh,
which I think is
that is
fitting.
excellent.
Step Brothers,
For
right?
the
Step
Step Brothers.
Brothers, Brother
And
Thelonious.
ironically, I'm drinking from a Laughing Monk glass. And Laughing Monk's logo is a brother.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And just to be clear, the Brother Thelonious is named for Thelonious Monk, right? Obviously the jazz
Correct.
musician. In case anybody didn't pick up on that. Nick, you and I know that because we've been drinking this beer for decades now, I think.
Yeah.
So but
Wait.
yeah, so and it's it's a good one. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers.
Oh man. Yeah, this is a good Abbey ale. It's got that wonderful aroma. Let me just Yeah. Yeah, this is an excellent beer. It's not it's not real heavy like some of them can be. It's that much more lighter Abbey ale. I mean, you can see the color. It's that kind of amber, almost reddish a little bit color on that. The
Yeah.
head, very creamy, holds up very well. It's just nice, very small
My head didn't
bubbles
hold
on
up
it.
very well, but
Yours did not
it's
hold
okay.
up well. What's going
But
on there?
in terms of flavor, it's aged well. That's for
Has
sure.
it? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
It's
talk to you about that.
still
So that's a brown ale that's a year old, huh?
yeah, a coconut brown ale.
Coconut brown.
And right away, like as you drink and you kind of draw in a little bit through your nose, and you still get nice toasted coconut.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm eating an Almond Joy.
Which to me sounds wonderful. So any listeners who want to hate on an Almond Joy, get out of here. Almond Joys are delicious.
Which after the ale song trip with the candy pairing, I like Almond Joys now. That's weird.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Not
You
like
have
I'm
been
gonna
won
go out of my
over.
way to get them, but like they appeared in the candy bowl and for Halloween. They were actually enjoyable now.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. Yeah, you're not going to buy one off the shelf, but if one's there in the candy bowl, you're not going to
Yeah.
throw it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on that bad boy there?
What is this? A 5.5.
5.5. Okay, so nice sipping beer. This, which I had not remembered, this comes in at 9.4%.
Ooh.
I had totally forgot how much heat comes off of this, but you start drinking it, and it's, how sometimes with the older styles, when they have that higher ABV, you get a little bit of that burn, that kind of fire to it. You almost get a hint of that fire, but then it's not really there, so you can tell this is a strong beer. You can really tell from the mouthfeel and like that, but it doesn't hit you like those really, really strong high ABV old style beers do. It doesn't really have that much burn. It's very nice. It's a good drinking beer. Don't pound this, right? Don't run this through the Kong unless you want to go to sleep. But definitely a good beer. I love this one.
Yeah. Thelonious, I remember it being a very good, that's a long lasting sipping beer.
Yes, it is.
It's for the winter. I don't think I've ever seen anybody drinking it during the summertime or even spring.
No, that's definitely a winter beer. And the good thing about it is it's always, at least when we've gotten it, we've always gotten it in the big bottles, right? The bomber. And it's perfect for sharing. So you grab one of those, crack it open with a buddy, and it's perfect for that, because it's got the high ABV. You're going to sip on it anyway. It's definitely a good beer to share. Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, Nick, what have you cooked recently? Talk to me about the food scene here.
I had thrown, I think the last time I talked about it, I put the brisket into the brine.
Oh yes, yeah. Are we on Pastrami Watch?
Pastrami Watch, Pastrami Watch, yeah! Pastrami Watch.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. Because I was gonna take it out after 7 days. And now we've just passed 14 days.
Yeah.
So and I actually need the bucket to do the turkey.
Oh yes.
To brine the turkey on Tuesday. So
and everyone listening, we are going to get into some Thanksgiving stuff in the next segment here. So be ready. We are going to talk We are going to talk turkey, side dishes, desserts, things like that. That's all coming. But
Oh yeah.
and that's why you need that brining tub.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, I need the bucket to hold I have a brining bag, but I still like putting the bag into a bucket just
Yeah.
as a means to support so it doesn't get popped or anything.
Oh,
But
absolutely, absolutely. I've had a brine bag spring a leak before. All bad. All bad.
yeah,
You put it
I
in
ain't
the
trying
bag
to ain't
and
nobody got
in the
time for that.
bucket. Nobody
Yeah.
got time for that.
Yeah. But so yeah, I think the brisket will end up going onto the smoker on Monday, then into the sous vide for a couple days, and then I'll probably wait till after Thanksgiving to go and slice it all up. So
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
in about a week we'll have some sliced pastrami.
Well, that's perfect because I'm going to be
Yeah.
headed your way not too long, so hopefully you'll have a little bit
Yeah.
left over.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, clearly I can't eat all of that. So yes, I'm going to be slicing up and then just right into vacuum seal bags, 1 pound
Brilliant.
increments. So,
Brilliant. I
but yeah,
love it. Absolutely love it.
totally.
Now, I recently got a request to do some biscuits and gravy. And
Mm,
biscuits and gravy is something I love making, and it is so simple. It's such an easy thing to do, and I feel like if you make it at home and you do it kind of the way I do it, it's gonna you're not gonna be able to order it out anymore. When you order it out, you get a sausage gravy, but it's gonna be a little bit thin, a little bit kind of runnier. I make a thick, hearty gravy, and it's very different from what you get out, as I said. But I feel like once you have it, you're a convert, and you'll never go back. I mean, it's very simple. I do it in a very simple way. First, the biscuits. I'm using Bisquick. I add a little bit more of the mix than it says just for the standard biscuits, and then what I do is I take a stick of butter. Right. First thing is put your Bisquick down into your bowl, and then I take a
yep.
stick of butter and I grate it. Okay, so you've got grated butter, one
Oh,
whole stick in there, and I mix that in and get each one of the grates
okay.
fully coated. Then I mix in the milk, and that's really it for the biscuits, right? Bisquick and milk, but then I add the grated butter in there, and that makes a really big difference with kind of your fluffiness and your crispiness on the outside. Okay.
For
And then what I
sure.
do is I get my sheet pan, right? And I lay down some parchment, throw the dough onto there, put another sheet of parchment over the top, press it down, and then kind of roll it so it's about an even thickness but spread out on that sheet pan. Pull that top piece of parchment off, and then I just cut it into kind of squares or rectangles and separate them a little bit so they have room to rise. And that's it.
Okay.
Throw them into the oven just like it says on the box.
So you do
And
square biscuits.
I do them square so they come out like a little kind of rectangly.
Nice.
A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll use that circle biscuit cutter, but
Yep.
then you've got all that stuff in between, and then you got to mash it
Extra.
back
Yeah.
together and spread it out again. And I say, waste of time. Cut them into
Yep.
squares,
Squares.
good to go. And then for the gravy, this is the secret to the gravy. Okay, you get one of
Hold
those.
on. He's
Yeah,
giving out secrets, people. These are
that's right.
things you normally have to pay for.
That's right.
You
That's
should
right.
still
This is
pay for them, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Go on.
Yeah, right now it just goes boo for everybody who's not a patron. Patreon.com, motherfuckers. Yeah, so uh I get the Jimmy Dean Sage breakfast sausage, okay? And it
Nice.
comes in that little tube there. I get that. I throw it into a pan, chop it up, start
That's
browning
sage
it.
advice right here.
That is sage advice if there's ever been some. Very real. So I get that browning. I start chopping it up so you get that, good crumbly, but you want to have some chunks in there. Once that's browned, you're going to make a little bit of a roux, but you're going to make that roux with the sausage in there and with all the sausage grease because a breakfast gravy, right? That gray gravy that you get, that was invented as a means of creating a food product off of something that could otherwise be a waste during lean times, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
look, we've got all this grease from the bacon, the sausage, the what have you. What do we do with it? Make a little bit of a roux, put it in there, add some milk, boom, there's a gravy. Now you're able to harvest those calories back out when,
Yep.
when calories were scarce and money was tight. Just so happens to be delicious. So back to the recipe. You've got your sausage in there. It's all nice and browned and everything. You've got your grease in there. Don't drain it. You're going to hit it with a stick of butter. All right. And now everybody's saying, but wait, didn't you put a whole stick of butter into those fucking biscuits? Yes, I did. This is not diet food. All right. You don't
Yeah.
make this every day or it'll kill you.
Yeah.
But on special occasions, you make it. So you got your stick of butter in there, melted in with your sausage. Hit it with anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of flour. Okay. Now I say 2 to 4 is going to be up to you. You've got to look at it, read the room, see what you've got. Okay.
Yep.
Get the flour in there, start stirring it around and browning the flour. Now, the point here is each one of those little granules of flour has to get coated by the butter and the grease. That's what protects it from clumping up and allows it to start browning. And you don't want to brown it too much. You just want to get a little bit of that kind of caramel color to it and then start pouring in heavy cream. 1 pint of heavy cream, pour it in there, stir it, stir it, stir it, keep stirring, and slowly, as the cream starts to soak into each one of those little buttery granules of flour, they start to expand. They start to make you that delicious gravy. You want to throw in some black pepper as much as you want. I say throw in maybe 2 tablespoons of black pepper crushed. I would say throw in probably at least 2 tablespoons of crushed red pepper also because I like some heat. Get those in there as you're making the roux, and then you add the milk in. And then once that thing thickens up, just set it aside. Your biscuits come out, spoon it over the top, couple of over easy eggs on there. You're good. You're golden. Okay.
Country Benedict.
Now, here's the thing. If you are getting up for a long, long day farming, that's health food, right?
Mhm.
Because that's the calories you need to get you through to lunch without dying, right?
Yep. For
For
sure.
everybody else, you eat that, you take a minute, and then you go take a nap and your day is over.
Yes.
That's how it is.
Yep.
But it is
I agree.
delicious.
Yes. If we go out to brunch and I eat something like that and we, have a few breakfast drinks,
Yeah,
come home, it's nap time.
that's it. Nap time. Nap time. I call that a solid day, right? You ate a
Yeah.
big meal, you had a couple of drinks, day's done. Go to sleep. Try again
Exactly.
tomorrow. That's my biscuits and gravy. I love making them. Like I said, you can't make them regularly. It's got to be a from time to time type of thing, but that's my style. Some people, I think, like it a little bit thinner gravy. I don't. I like it that real thick where you're really spooning it on there. You can't pour it, you spoon it.
Yeah. And it's all about homemade, but sometimes when you're in a pinch and you're in a hurry and you want some biscuits and gravy, if you're in Oregon, you go to Dairy Mart.
Dairy Mart.
Dairy Mart is like a 7-Eleven.
Okay. Now I'm confused because that doesn't sound like a place for good biscuits and gravy, Nick.
I didn't say, they're okay. But when you're in a hurry and you want to have some biscuits and gravy,
Yeah.
they got biscuits and gravy. I'm pretty sure they're using the big old can gravy,
Yeah.
sausage gravy, whatever. They literally behind the register, they've got the crock pots going with the gravy in there. And then they've got the biscuits and their little warming box things so that they're nice warmed up biscuits.
Yeah.
But no, when we've just been we want biscuits and gravy, but we don't want to put in all the work to make the gravy and everything. I'll
Yeah.
go and get those. I'll come back. I'll fry up some eggs. We'll put them
Yeah.
over that.
Yeah.
And we're good to go. And
You
dude,
know,
they're so
and-
cheap. They're like $3 or $4.
Biscuits and gravy is one of the cheapest things you can get. And
It
if you
is.
throw a couple of eggs on them, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. Listen, I like it the way I make it. It's a step up. But as you said, if you're in a pinch, you just need something, a couple of eggs on
Yep.
top, you're going to have a good time anyway. When we came up to record with Julio over at Lefty's recently, staying at the hotel, in the morning, I went downstairs. They've got the upgraded breakfast there. And it's got the biscuits and gravy. I ate them. They were delicious.
That's why I like the Hampton Inn. Dude, they always got that. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong.
No, can't go wrong with
Absolutely.
free breakfast.
I used to work at a place called Mimi's Cafe. Nick, you know Mimi's Cafe.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
We've got a fellow Big Sean Moe, our boy from back in the day. He used to be a server at Mimi's Cafe. Sean, if you're listening, big shout out. What's going on, my brother? But he used to be a server there. And so when I was down in San Diego, I started off as a busser there, right? Cleaning off tables, running the stuff into the back. And that's where I started off. And I remember talking to the boss and saying, hey, what's the deal? Why don't we have a biscuits and gravy? And I'll tell you why. Biscuits and gravy is very inexpensive, very cheap. And so what would happen is people would order biscuits and gravy. They pay $2 for it. And then they
Yeah.
drop like 25, 50 cents for the tip. And the servers were just like, I did exactly as much work as if somebody had ordered a $10 breakfast, but I'm not getting any tips on it. So the servers were getting upset because, as you know, servers make nothing. And it's their tips that keeps them alive. So if they're getting 25, 50 cents tip on a breakfast, they can't do it. So they just took the biscuits and gravy off the menu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sad thing, but what can you do? I mean, you can't have your wait staff, going hungry.
Definitely. Yeah, I should charge more for the biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. And if you got a good biscuits and gravy, I'll pay more for it,
Oh, for sure.
Well, let me see. Where are we as far as time here, brother? I can't see the clock because I got my camera and my light in front of me.
I think we're rolling up on about 30 minutes or so.
Well, let's do this, man. We're gonna have a couple of segments today because it is our, go stuff yourself extravaganza.
Gobble wobble.
So that's it, man. Gobble till you wobble. What do you think? Take a quick break and we'll come back and do some more.
I can get behind that.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's see. I think we got a trail report from Billy. We'll see what we've got. Either way, we'll be back soon.
Cheers.
We are at the rap party, the beginnings of the rap party for Little Box of Hope, and I'm here with my buddy
Mike
Mike
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez of Liquor Point, which is here in Spartanburg. Mike, tell us all about Liquor Point.
We've been in business here in the Spartanburg area for several years. We're located on the west side, and right now we're going through a phase where we have single barrels that we've done as our store picks. Currently, we have about 34 store picks that we hand select for sale to our customers and to a bar and restaurants that we supply.
They are delicious. I'm going to spin this around and just let you have a look at a little bit of the offerings he's brought us tonight for the party.
I'm hoping this tanks because I'm not seeing what I'm recording at this point.
It's not a good type of cup of tea, but she's in there expecting, watching me at my craft, That's what it's.
Hey everyone, Travis from Hoppy Trails here, just checking in on this quick break between segments. Wanted to thank you for joining us on this Get Stuffed, Gobble Till You Wobble 2023 Thanksgiving Spectacular. And before we move on to the next segment, I just wanted to give you all a little bit of a heads up. The audio quality in the next segment is not going to match the standard that you have come to expect from the Hoppy Trails podcast. And the reason for that, quite frankly, is I forgot to plug in one of the microphones. Yes, if you can believe it, with all of my professional audio expertise, I forgot to plug a microphone in. The result is that we had just awful audio, and I had been working tirelessly for days to try to salvage it. So be aware as you go in. The audio quality, though imperfect, is significantly better than what it was before. With that in mind, thank you again. Grab yourself a beer, sit back, and get ready to enjoy the rest of the Thanksgiving spectacular. Get stuffed, everyone. Cheers.
All right, and welcome back from that break. That was an interesting trail report or something else. I'm not sure. You'll know just as soon as we know. And we are back with the Thanksgiving extravaganza.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love to talk beer. I love to talk turkey. Let's get wasted. Let's get basted.
Yeah. Let's get wasted and let's get basted. Oh man.
Wasted and basted. Gobble till you wobble.
Everything goes right. Something's getting stuffed. What? What?
Yeah. Talk,
9 months later.
Well, so anybody who hasn't figured it out yet, we do have our wives on the show here. Nick, I see you've got the beautiful Monica sitting next to you. Say hello there, Monica. Not everyone can see you.
Hey, everyone.
And then here I have to my left, or I don't know if it's left or right when you see it on the video, but over here next to me is Stephanie, my wife.
Hello.
All right. And yeah, this being a family holiday, certainly not a family episode with some of the shit we've already said, but we brought the families on, and we're going to, as you said, we're going to talk turkey. Talk turkey. Yes. Well, but before we jump into that, I am going to crack open a little beverage. Would you mind handing me that over there? The tools of my trade, if you would. Ooh. Okay, here we have something that, Nick, did you bring me this? Is this one that you brought me? It says Henrietta Stitch Hard Apple Cider from Delfino Farms.
No,
that's not you.
Relatives.
I would have remembered giving you a bottle with a cock on it.
That would have been my family.
Yeah.
Am I on theme?
Nick would have remembered laying such a large cock in my hand. I'll probably cut that. That's too much. That's too much. This is
there is never too much for Hoppy Trails.
This is from Camino, California. Have you no?
It's been in the fridge for a minute. It looks delicious.
It does. I'm gonna grab this opener here, and I'm gonna.
It looks fancy. Just as it looks like a holiday one.
Yeah. It's nice. Batch number 9, bottle number 1,319 cases, 200 cases made. So there you go, a limited run from this Henrietta Stitch of Delfino Farms. I'm gonna crack this thing open here. Let's see if we can hear it. Ooh,
beautiful.
Okay, let me throw my opener down, and I have another glass from Proper Pints, as you can see here, and this one has the guys from Silicon Valley, and it says this guy hops. Yeah. And then on the back it has the Pied Piper logo, and it says Proper Pints. And this is
that's awesome.
Another one. I told you I ordered those things, and like 4 days later they arrived. Yeah,
that is excellent.
All right, let's get to pouring. Ooh,
nice.
Wow.
While you're pouring there,
we're
going to crack open a cold IPA called Light Layers by Kings and Daughter Brewery.
Look at that. Oh, I like that can art.
Burlington Northern. Yeah, BNSF freight train there on the can.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
really nice. Yeah, any of our fans here who are into trains are going to know exactly what those locomotives are.
Yeah, only me.
When did you pick that one up, Nick?
It was a couple months ago from the beer garden with food carts in Corvallis called Common Fields.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have a little fridge in there with featuring cans from some other local breweries.
Yeah.
He had ordered me a double IPA, I think.
Yeah.
While we had poke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poke.
Beautiful. I think this is a wild ferment. I didn't really jump into any of the info here, but it's nice, man. This is
really good.
Yeah, it's dry. It's funky.
Dry, yeah. Not too sweet, It's got that kind of.
I swear,
it's super clear.
Yes, it's super clear. It smells really dry. Like if that can be a thing, like it just doesn't have that like overly sugary.
It is. This is almost exactly like the Vue Brut champagne. I swear.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
If you just handed me this,
I will be drinking.
Yeah, if you handed me this in a champagne glass, I would just be like, oh, this is a great champagne. This is really good. I wouldn't even know it was apples. Yeah. Give that a little sipperoonie there. Yeah.
I mean, technically cider is just apple champagne.
That's it. Exactly. How is that?
It's good.
Is that fucking bomb?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah. I'm going to chug this to my face.
Yeah,
right
do it.
Let's get basted. All right. Monica, tell us what's in that beer you have.
So this cold IPA,
Based on the description, it says is clean, dry, and crisp with a bitterness and full flavor derived from classic and new world hop.
Yeah.
And the hops are WVH Vic's Secret,
Mm-hmm.
Mosaic Incognito, Roy
Oh.
Farms Centennial, Indie Strata, and Freestyle New Zealand Cascade.
All the hops in that one.
Wow. Well, it sounds like some variations on some classics. You said a New Zealand Cascade?
Yep.
Crazy.
Apparently
Crazy.
the Cascades moved to New Zealand.
They did. Somebody must have just picked them up and flown them over there. You know what? I would actually want to talk to New Jared and ask him about that and see if that is something where some of the New Zealand hop farms are taking some of those classics and doing some of their own rebreeding, because that's outstanding. How is it?
Very good. Honestly, I'm not even picking up much bitterness off of it. It's very smooth, and like I was saying, like even though I got to plug my fridge in, so it's at kind of a cellar temperature, it's actually perfect because you're getting so much more flavor out of it than you would if it was 35 degrees.
Yeah, that really is the great thing when you increase it a little bit. I mean, listen, you don't have to have it at 55, 58 degrees, something like that, but even getting it up slightly over 40, you're going to get a lot more of that malt flavor in there, and some of the sweetness and like that. You'll get that character that's often muted with the cold temperature. So that's great. Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
really good.
So, we always talk about beer. That's the thing that we do. So why don't we get into what we're really here for today, which is Thanksgiving, right? Let's talk turkey and accoutrements. Yeah.
Get into the stuffing for your muffin.
That's right.
Oh, good. Stuffing.
Yes.
Speaking of stuffing, I'm going to go ahead and say bold statement.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite side dish of all of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I look forward
Agreed.
to it all year.
Oh, yeah.
We don't make it any other time of the year.
Nope.
Yeah.
Only Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So it really, you're ready and excited for it.
Yeah. Once a year only. And it is one of those special things that I know there's a lot of folks that, they'll make it here or there, but we just don't. We only have it for Thanksgiving. We really
There's
go
people
hard
that
on
make
it.
stuffing outside of Thanksgiving.
There are some folks who do. There are.
Well, I mean,
Are
what's
these people?
stovetop, right? Like that's just like I don't use it, and no judgment to people who do, but like
No,
that's like
judgment. No, judgment to people who
Hey,
do.
there's nothing wrong with stovetop. My mom used to make stovetop when I was little.
that's it, right?
Outside of
Like-
Thanksgiving.
Not for Thanksgiving.
Actually,
Yeah.
But she would make like these. She'd get sliced turkey and do these, and then fill them with. You basically roll up stovetop stuffing into the sliced turkey, and then lay them out
that's awesome.
in a baking dish and pour gravy over them, and then bake it.
Yes.
That
Right?
sounds amazing. See, like, stovetop has its place.
That's right.
In quick stuffing in the grocery
Exactly.
store. That sounds like something I would love, and I'd be stoked to be able to pick up a box and do it.
Absolutely.
Quickly. That sounds amazing. I saw something similar to that recently because Travis and I are always looking for ways to reuse our leftover Thanksgiving ingredients. We've done Thanksgiving like enchiladas before, but
Yes, we did.
that sounds
Nice.
like something delicious too. It's like just rolling it up in turkey. And
I saw
anyway,
some. I can't
Egg
remember.
rolls.
I can't remember if I
I've seen
sent
that
it to
as egg
you,
rolls.
Travis, but it was like a Thanksgiving sushi where before they slice the turkey apart, they delicately removed the skin from the entire breast area and everything,
Yeah.
and as much as they could from the legs. And then they saved that, and then they laid it out flat, and then they stacked all their Thanksgiving sides and turkey all in there,
Yeah.
and then they rolled it up like a sushi roll
What?
in
Yeah.
the turkey skin.
Yes.
I love it.
I
So,
love it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I love
fun.
it.
That sounds outstanding. Yeah, that sounds
Definitely.
good.
So let's get into this stuffing. What do you got going on there, Steph, for stuffing?
I'm a traditionalist
Yep.
when it comes to Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
I actually cannot take credit for the stuffing recipe that I used. It's Travis's grandmother,
My grandmother.
and it's they actually like his family doesn't. We're like the communities in the family. I don't feel like anybody else really cares that much about passing down recipes. They don't really have that culture happening within the family. We are kind of more people, but I will say the Thanksgiving rump stuffing recipe I feel like is a little bit coveted, where
Oh yeah.
it's kind of like his sister was like, okay, like you guys are new.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It was like the only like secret recipe that my family has. Yeah.
And let me just tell you, the secret. It's like just a ton of butter.
Yeah.
Just it's like like all good holiday non-diet food. It
So it's a
requires
Paula Deen
a
recipe.
lot of butter.
A lot of butter.
Yeah, anyways, I just had to say that because I think it's kind of funny. Like we love the stuffing recipe. It's classic.
Yeah.
Do that, and I don't want to say classic American stuffing because I've learned that the South does cornbread and stuffings, and I know that there's a lot.
Louisiana has their oyster stuffing, right, with the chopped oysters in there. There's regional variations, and this.
But this is classic. Like
what
how
saying versus maybe more Midwest?
No, I don't know. It's on his grandmother did it. It's very close to how my grandmother did it. And that's why I liked it too, because she'd already passed by the time we got married, and I couldn't ask what she did. And this is really, really so it's that comfort.
Well, break it down. What's the stuffing?
Stuffing. We buy the breadcrumbs too.
Not breadcrumb, bread cubes.
Bread cubes.
Yeah.
My mom
That's what I
actually
did
used
yesterday.
to leave the bread out for a couple days prior to
Yep. Same with
Thanksgiving.
mine.
That's a step that I don't do because I haven't really found that there's.
Yeah, inside tip. It doesn't make a difference. So just buy the bags of pre-cubed bread. They're cheap, especially around Thanksgiving. It's probably going to cost you less than buying bread and leaving it on your counter. So,
but very basic cubes, cubed bread, more butter than you like a box and a half.
Yeah, pound and a half of butter. Yeah,
butter. The other, you have to have that box of the bells. These make that little yellow box of the turkey.
So my mom struggled to find that this year, and I couldn't find it either. So I ended up having to get the McCormick poultry seasoning. But
pro tip:
it'll do.
They always sell out. Travis makes me buy 3 boxes every year so he has them. And that's something that his mom actually told us the first year. One of the first couple of years after we were married and I was doing Thanksgiving, she gave me some recipes and she said, make sure to go buy the yellow box, get a couple. They're always sold out.
And you've got to buy them. You've got to buy them in September.
Yes.
You got to buy it in September because everybody knows it's going to sell out. So they start stocking up earlier and earlier. So you got to buy them in September. Always grab a couple and just have them on hand in your cupboard. You know?
Yeah, but that stuff's amazing. That kind of ties it all together.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's basic. You got to throw your eggs in there, your onions, your parsley. And get your hands in there.
Celery?
Celery. Yeah,
Celery.
Celery.
And you saute your onions and celery first, right? Yep.
Saute, And I always chop the celery and the onions and the parsley ahead of time, put it in little bags the day before. So that you can assemble very quickly day of. I've got my things that I do the day before and the things, that you do day of that just like are better day of or are quick. Stuffing's very quick and obviously it goes straight into the bird. And that's the other thing. We stuff the hell out of our bird.
That's it.
Like there's different recipes, different say like, oh, don't overstuff it. Like that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Stuff.
Absolute bullshit. There's so many, and it's to the point that I've seen it on like sitcoms where like, don't overstuff it, and the person's like, I know what I'm doing, and then their hand gets stuck, and they're trying to get it out, and the bird goes out the window, and it's the whole thing. It's like that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Stuff. You gotta be holding that bird with one hand and coming in there and just. Getting in it. You got to get up on it.
Our tradition. Travis is a master. He stuffs the turkey for me.
That's right.
He can he gets. I don't know how he does, but he gets a shit ton of stuffing every year. It's like it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
How much he can get.
There's crevices in there that you don't know about, and you gotta really get in there and get to know the inside of that bird.
Well, that's the turkey stuffing is the best stuffing, right?
Yeah.
And then
and what's the other spot that we always stuff that a lot of people forget?
The neck.
Get in that neck hole.
The little
put
pocket.
the neck hole.
Yeah. Oh man.
Question for you. Do you utilize the giblets?
We do because actually you want to say that because that's like his little memory.
Okay.
He loves them. I don't love them, but that's something that he used to eat with his mom
Well,
every year.
so here's the thing. Yeah, when it comes to chickens, because my mom would sometimes fry a chicken or do roast chicken or whatever, and I don't know why it was, but her and she would have the hearts and livers and all of that, and she would just fry those up in some butter, and then she would call me in, and her and I would eat those because we enjoyed them. I don't think anybody else did. So that was always something that I had with my mom. So I love those, and I think a big part of it is just that, like, that was something I had with my mom my whole life.
That's awesome.
But
we use it for gravy too.
Yeah, when it comes to Thanksgiving, all up in the gravy. Get the neck in there and all the the giblets and the what have yous and all those in the gravy. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
And then everybody probably knows this. I'm getting sidetracked, but also, I mean, more butter on the turkey, right? The basting, baste.
We'll get to the turkey.
Okay, because I was gonna say, if you've ever had let's
and I've had a dry turkey.
We'll
get to that.
I used to think
we'll get to
fortunately.
But
I'm excited. I love things.
Well, because we gotta talk stuffing, right? You gotta round it out.
Yeah.
So but yeah, the stuffing, getting up in that neck pouch, you can fit a lot in there. And then sometimes what you can do, right, if if you want to keep something a little special for yourself, what you can do is just cut that neck pouch out, and you'll have this like crispy, almost like fried block of stuffing wrapped in neck pouch skin. And you can set that aside and not even tell anybody it's there. And that is some prime snackage right there. Or you take it out and, share it with everyone if you want to share
The
it with
next
everyone.
sack of stuffing.
I don't always do it. Sometimes I share it. But that's our stuffing. That's how we do it.
Yeah, we
Excellent.
like they keep it really definitely traditionalist when it comes to the Thanksgiving food.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's your style? Does your family do the bread, the cubed bread method?
So my
do you guys
mom,
do a cornbread?
My mom, I always, every year I've always kind of left it to her to do the stuffing, and she actually goes the route of she'll have like 2 or 3 different loaves of bread that she'll buy and just let it sit out and dry out, and then she'll crumble it all up to make her stuffing.
Yeah.
She's always done it in a baking dish. She's never stuffed the turkey with it.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, she does, sautés the onions and celery and everything. And then uses the bell seasoning in the stuffing. This year, since it's just us, I'm making the stuffing, and so I'm doing like an Italian sausage stuffing.
Ooh,
so I've got some mild ground Italian sausage that I'll be mixing in with that, with the stuffing cubes and all the other items. I won't be stuffing the bird because I'm usually, when I've done a turkey, I'll do spatchcock. That way it's not sitting in the smoker all day, potentially drying out or anything like that. But I'll get more into that when we're onto the turkey. So
yeah. Now stuffing, I have it all. I'll get into this also, but sometimes when I do one spatchcock on the smoker like that, I'll sometimes throw an extra tray of stuffing underneath that bird to catch some of those drippings as it goes. But I mean, end of the day, you're going to put some gravy on it. So if you don't have it stuffed in the bird, you're going to get that bird flavoring in there. No doubt.
Absolutely, you are. Yeah.
What do you do for your gravy?
That's exactly that. So since I've been spatchcocking, I'll usually when I spatchcock, I put it on the smoker. And so I'll do an aluminum tray underneath the spatchcock bird in the smoker to catch as much drippings as possible. And then while it's finishing up, I'll take that tray out with all the juices and everything. And I just do kind of your standard gravy and everything.
We need to do
there is a slight possibility that I may incorporate. My mom is not a fan of giblets, so there's never been giblets in the family gravy. But
really,
I'm thinking of throwing the giblets onto the smoker as well and letting them go and cook. And get real nice and tender. And then in the process of making the gravy, I might I have an immersion blender, and so I'll blend them up, and then basically blend them into the gravy. So we'll see if that happens or not.
Yeah,
But,
I'm in favor of it. With our gravy, we get a pot going. I'll throw in the neck bone. We'll throw in all the little goodies from inside. Then if I'm also spatchcocking, which when we do it at our house, Steph does the oven bird, I do the smoker bird. And so when I spatchcock it, I'll take the whole backbone out. So I've got the necks from 2 birds, the goodies from 2 birds, the backbone from 1 bird, usually the rib, all the rib and chest bones and all that.
The tops of the celery from the stuffing.
Yep, tops of the celery from the stuffing, onion, carrots. Get that in and let that simmer to make like a broth, like a turkey broth.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back with drippings and what have you. And then
start that early. You start the
you start that stock early.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that goes on really early in the morning.
Yep. And just let it stir. Keep topping it off.
Yep. And then once it's nice and rich by the end of it, right before you pull your turkey out.
Yeah.
Make a roux.
With the drippings from the turkey and some butter. Surprise, the more butter.
Absolutely.
Make a roux, and then we just start adding in that basically turkey stock into it until you get the consistency you want. But my mom does a real thin gravy.
Yeah, we like it a medium.
We like a medium.
Yeah.
Silky, you know what I mean? But
it still flows nicely.
It flows, but it's got viscosity, you know?
Correct.
Yeah. That's our consistency. What about you? Do you like it?
Same.
That kind of medium?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I you get better as years go on. And then you promise yourself like this is never going to happen again when you make mistakes, right? Like there were definitely a few years early on where we had lumpy gravy and I was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And this will not happen again.
Yeah.
Immersion blenders help.
Immersion blenders, absolutely. Yeah.
And making the roux and really making sure that all the flour is completely smoothed out. I remember one year someone gave us the tip. It was a family Thanksgiving somewhere and gave us the tip of to thicken the gravy cornstarch or flour, but it was after the fact. It was like after the gravy had already started. People were throwing flour in, and that just like
that was the year that my mom was actually sick, and she was doing fine, getting everything ready, and then all of a sudden when it came like go time, everything's getting ready to come out. She was just like, I have to go lay down. I'm not.
I didn't remember.
And so she was out. She's like, Travis, you have to do this. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know how you do your things. This was years ago. And and people were like, look, we got to just throw the flour in, and it was a mess. It made a lumpy gravy.
Yeah. My grandmother always made the gravy in the turkey pan. So like the turkey would come out and
the roasting pan itself.
Yeah. And like the slicing would happen, which did everybody's grandfather have the like electric slicer? I felt like that was
the electric carving knife.
I'm like, that's like something that only came out once a year. My grandfather was the one that did it, but I was just wondering if that's anybody else's memory too. But
I think maybe one year when I was a kid, we used the electric slicer, but I have a really nice long slicing knife.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
I think about that now, and it's really funny to me because it was like a big deal. It was like grandpa's bringing out, he's plugging in, everybody back away. Like let him do the carving. And again, like they still had it in the original box. Like I can picture like the box that the electric knife came in.
Yeah.
It was like the special occasion. Anyway.
It's there with the good china because it only comes out for Thanksgiving. You know?
My grandfather took his role as the turkey slicer because my grandmother did all the cooking, but his role when it got to the slicing time, he was very serious about it. It was, and I just remember that being like an intense thing, but but yeah. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, she would use the entire turkey pan with a whisk and just go at it, which I've yet to do, but I'm sure that's get a lot of good flavor.
Yeah, get all those kind of good browned crusty bits in there.
Yes.
Why not? That's flavor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyways, it's just fun to kind of go back and think about the stuff that you remember watching as a kid. I'd love to hear if you guys have any of those memories too. But one of I really distinctly remember watching my grandma. Probably 'cause I really loved to cook. I always was watching. She was the one that did the most cooking as a kid. And I would just watch her and just be, how does she remember how to make all these things? Or how does she know how to make all these things? And it's funny, like you grow up and you like to cook, you realize that like actually Thanksgiving cooking, all of the things that you make are pretty easy.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy things to make, mashed potatoes, like overall. But I just learned that it's the timing. I've said this before, I think on another, like one of our podcasts, but
Yeah.
that's the hardest part about Thanksgiving. It's not the dishes.
Right.
It's the time. It's getting it out.
Yep.
On time and warm. So
Yeah.
that's what I would have told my little self. Like, oh, you'll know. You'll get there. But
Yeah.
it's really the timing that's
Right. It's not the cooking, and it's
not
the
the
timing.
cooking, it's the timing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
but anyways, yeah, I don't know if you guys have any of those like memories that stick out, but it's funny as we're talking, what's kind of coming to my mind.
Yeah.
Like, but
I remember one year, my dad pulled out a machete.
A machete.
He did it as a joke, but he was just like, "No, go ahead, use it." And we're like, "What?" And there goes my brother. Yeah, I'll do it.
that's awesome. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah,
what-
turkey and gravy.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I would assume you're a mashed potato. Do you also do a sweet potato? Do you do them candied with the marshmallows? What's your style there on the starch based side dishes?
So normally with family, we'll be doing mashed potatoes. My mom will also do like the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Since we're not with them this year, it's just going to be us and our neighbors. So it's just the four of us. We're not going too crazy with sides this year. And I actually wanted to kind of do things a little bit different this year. So that's why I'm doing like the Italian sausage stuffing. And for our potatoes, instead of mash, we're doing au gratin.
Fun.
Ooh,
I like
nice.
it.
And so we're gonna make them ultra cheesy and creamy. I got some applewood smoked bacon. We're gonna chop up a little bit of that, throw that into the potatoes as well.
Oh, that sounds really good, guys.
Yeah,
I like
so-
that. I like that.
This is the year of non-traditional, where past
Yeah.
Thanksgivings have always been pretty traditional things. So
That's fun too. I say I'm a traditionalist, but that's fun too.
for
Totally.
sure,
That's like, yeah, and getting to mix it up and try different things. I've actually been wanting to do an au gratin. I've seen some really good recipes for.
Well, 5
Yeah.
years of being together,
yeah.
I feel like we're still trying to figure out what do we want to keep tradition and what can we get away with, changing
Totally.
it up a bit.
Yes.
For sure.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's our spin
Because
on
the
it?
first
What do we
few
like?
years, it was like Thanksgiving either at the Hueys or at the Torres, or we're like cutting our hours as to like how many we're
We're
spending.
doing two separate
We're doing
Thanksgivings.
two separate Thanksgivings, and then we'll get together with his family or my family.
Yeah.
And
We know
so,
all about that. You spend a lot of time driving during the
Mhm.
holiday, right? Yeah.
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 No, but that's good. That's why it took us, it took us years to figure that out. Like, we know we like the medium style and gravy.
Yeah.
It takes time to figure out as a couple. Like,
It's
how
true.
are we going to do our gravy? This is what I grew up with.
Yeah. It really comes down to, how do you want your children raised? What thickness of gravy do you want to raise them on, really? Give them that good start for out into the world.
Yeah. We're going to raise them with clumps or no clumps?
No clumps.
I prefer no clumps.
No clumps.
So that'd be get down
Well,
to
let me ask you about the au gratin potatoes. So there's, are you doing where you're going to have the potatoes and then you're going to make a sauce, pour it on, and then bake it? Or are you doing where you like dust them with flour, add cheese, pour the milk in, and throw them in the oven? I've seen a couple of different ways, and we've only made them a handful of times, right?
Yeah, and the one that I wanted to try is the first one, like pouring. That made sense.
Where you
The
make a
sauce.
sauce and
Make a
pour it
sauce.
on.
Yeah,
and then
like a
pour it
bechamel
on.
kind of. And then you through with the sauce, then you're also layering in cheese as well.
Yeah.
But
Delicious.
with that sauce, I'll be layering in the chopped up bacon.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't go wrong.
Oh
So
man.
similar to like what the au gratin potatoes that we had at Dueling Spoons a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Where it's a nice thick bechamel sauce in there. So
Yeah.
it turns out to be nice and creamy.
Oh,
a nice
beautiful.
dinner.
You've got to take some pictures of that. I would love to see it. That it sounds like
Yes.
it's going to be really good.
No, we need to do. I said it, but we need to do a Friendsgiving at some point. I think it'd be so fun.
Absolutely.
That would be so fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like we're kind of dancing around it. Let's talk turkey. Let's talk turkey.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble indeed.
Yeah.
So Nick, you mentioned in the first segment, the third segment, depending on how this is edited, I believe in the first segment you mentioned that you needed your brining bucket available for the turkey. Is that right?
That's correct. I have a brisket sitting in it right now, brining to be pastrami. So that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be pulled out of the bucket tomorrow. Actually, I should probably pull it out of the bucket tonight so that I can have it air dry in the fridge, and then it will go on the smoker tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's gonna happen. And then my plan is Tuesday to get the turkey all ready and cleaned up and throw that into the brine. With the brine this year, I'm using a brine mix from, you might have heard of it before. They make rubs, Cosmos Q.
No,
It's Cosmos with a K. They're actually a pretty popular barbecue rub brand. And I've heard a lot of good things about their brine mix. So I got their brine mix, but then I'm also going to throw in some thyme. We bought a bunch of oranges, so I'm going to do some sliced up orange, and all that. And that I'm going to let brine overnight to Wednesday, and then Wednesday I'm going to take it out, and I will, at that point, I'll spatchcock it, and then I'll put it on a cookie sheet, a drying rack, and put that back in the fridge so that it can air dry. And then come Thursday morning, I will go ahead and I plan to, I know sounds a little overkill because I've already brined it, but I'm also going to inject it. At least the breast at minimum. And then also do a Cosmos Q, it's called Dirty Bird, rub on it.
I have heard of that. I have heard the Cosmos Q Dirty Bird. Now that you say that, yeah.
And then what I'm going to inject it with, I just kind of came up with in my head the other day, so hopefully it works out well. This is going to be a giant experiment. Is a mixture of butter and Cholula hot sauce.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, Cholula's not that hot or anything like that, so it'll be, I think a combination with the butter, it'll be pretty good, and it should actually kind of give the interior of the breasts a nice kind of color to them as well.
I love this. I love how much thought is going into this. This is like, this is awesome.
Like I said, we've always done like traditional stuff and everything. So this year, it's just us. Why not experiment and play around?
Yes,
really, I love it.
I love it.
I can't wait to hear how it all is.
Well, let me ask you. So you're gonna do the butter and Cholula injection. Are you gonna clarify the butter? Are you just gonna go straight melt the cube, mix it, and go? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a straight. For me, I'm always about efficiency and kind of saving time and everything. So I'm not gonna clarify. I'm just gonna melt it down and then whisk in the Cholula, and then basically just get it sucked up into the syringe and put in that bird.
Oh man, that's gonna be amazing. What are you gonna use for the smoke?
So I don't go anything special with the smoke. So like in this particular case, I usually have on hand this mixture that I buy from, it's a Kirkland, their own Kirkland pellet mix, which I think is a mixture of like some oak and cherry, and I think maybe pecan in there as well. So it's kind of a mixture of things, but at the end, it ends up being a pretty mild smoke. So the plan is, with it being spatchcock, and it's I think it's like a 19-pound bird. I suspect it'll probably be on the smoker for at least 4 hours. And then the first hour and a half, 2 hours, I'll keep it at low, like around like 225, so it gets a bit more smoke to it and everything. And then after that, the last couple hours, I'll have it cranked up to probably about 325, 350, so I can get nice skin crispiness to it.
Do you find that air dry on the rack in the fridge helps you with that crispy skin, or what do you
Yes.
get from that step?
Yes. It helps with the crispier skin. In fact, I might actually, when I go to air dry it, I might actually put rub on it because the rub's going to have a little bit of salt in there already. And I
Yeah.
know that it's been brined and everything, but um, the salt on the skin with through the air drying process is what ultimately is also going to give you that really crispy skin.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will say in the past when it comes to birds on the smoker, I have I've had a lot of times where the skin does not turn out great. And I think that's been a big part of it is not doing that air dry step. And so the skin ends up, instead of getting crispy, I've had it get leathery and chewy. And
It's
so
like that
if I do
soft,
that air
floppy,
dry
yeah.
step, that's going to solve that.
That should, yes.
Okay.
Because ultimately, when you're air drying, you're drying the skin and letting the moisture come off of it. So by the time it goes into the oven or into the smoker, it's not going to have as much moisture content as it did from just coming directly out of the brine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then that combined with doing the injection back in, especially the injection with butter and everything like
Oh
that,
yeah.
you're still going to get that juiciness plus the fats in there to lubricate all of those muscle fibers. My goodness. Okay.
That's how foodies do Thanksgiving.
Look, we're scrapping my mom's house. We're driving up to Oregon. That's what's up.
I know.
Well, as I've said, Steph's our oven bird expert, right?
Okay.
You do our oven bird,
I do
you not?
the oven bird.
Yeah.
It's probably the only large piece of meat that I do that Travis does not. Like, well, and he'll do a spatchcock on the smoker at the same time.
Yeah, same time.
But yes.
Yeah.
The turkey. What I do.
What's your way on the turkey?
What is my way on the turkey? I do a brine. It's simple. I've changed it. I've changed it probably every year. I think the last 2 years has probably kept it the most consistent. It's a fast one. It's actually a recipe that I got from out of a Taste of Home magazine.
Taste of Home magazine.
I years ago was at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And found this holiday Taste of Home edition with just all the recipes looked amazing. And this is probably my most like coveted holiday recipe guide now.
Yes.
Travis and I have, for fun, tried to make everything we will. The goal is someday to have made everything in this. But everything turns out outstanding. We've done a seafood lasagna.
Oh my god, that seafood lasagna! I forgot about that. Holy cannoli!
Rum cake. It's just all these like classic Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Oh, that rum cake.
Yes.
God damn, dude! This one magazine, and it's we have it like secured away. One year we couldn't find it. It was frantic, and then we finally located it. Yeah, we
lost it. I'm laminating the whole thing. Like, anyways, it's. I love the recipes in this. Everything turns out really great. The last 2 years, I found there's a turkey brine recipe in that, and I realized like it's so much more simple than what I had been doing in the past, and it turned out great. So consistent with all the other recipes. It's awesome. So but yeah.
What are the major flavors that you've got in there?
Thyme, rosemary. I think it. Trying to think.
Anybody who's watching and not listening, you see Stephanie looking off to the side. She's fucking cheating right now. She brought her recipes in here.
But I think this might be the one that we did. This is not the one I told about. Rosemary, brown sugar, lemon, tangerine, garlic, thyme, sage.
Yes, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's like one that we did for a long time. The tangerine, delicious.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
totally.
But yeah. So
Yeah, and then we stuff the hell out of it as you do.
stuff the hell out of the turkey.
Yeah.
I learned how to trust the turkey from Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
On a
Trust the
YouTube video years ago. So we trusted turkey with some twine. And
No trust falls though.
No trust falls. No.
Trying to think what else. Yeah, and then just baste it. I was gonna say I years ago thought I did not like turkey. I was like, it's kind of a dry meat. I don't love it. And I just learned that I had had a really dry turkey that maybe wasn't basted, because I grew up, made my own turkey, made sure to baste, and it's delicious.
Yes.
Turkey
Yes.
is really good. So
yeah, if you treat it right, it's really good. If you do it wrong, it's easy to dry out a turkey. It is. But that's why you do these steps, right? You brine it, you baste it, all of this, and you don't overcook it.
You don't overcook it, and then usually towards the end, right before the turkeys, I'm sure people know this, but this is stuff I had to learn. I had to learn all of this on my own. I like I said, my grandmother had already passed. So I got recipes from Travis's family, and then just like trial and error on my own. But again, this might be something people know. Towards the end, when a turkey is almost finished, it starts to get really dark. So a little foil on the legs and things that are poking up, because it'll get too dark. So
yeah, just little piece of foil laid across can just prevent that scorching of the skin near the end.
I'm trying to think what else I've learned.
Yeah,
that you can.
I've learned that
to Drew.
Well, at least when smoking, if you're using a rub on it and your skin is starting to split, or you get some skin tears because it's pulling from the heat and everything, it ends up tearing. You can usually go ahead and drop some, melted butter in there, and then sprinkle on a little bit more rub, and just kind of rub it in there, and that kind of glues the skin from keeping it from tearing some more.
No kidding.
That's a good tip.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And at the end of the day, is it going to change the ultimate outcome of the turkey? Maybe not. But that presentation is important. You know what I mean? You're showing, especially people who have maybe never had one smoked. You want to lay this beautiful thing out. I mean, it's, we eat with our eyes first and all of that. And that's something make it look really nice. And it's a special occasion. Why not?
For sure.
Yeah. And we rub, to get started, we rub a ton of butter on the inside and outside of the turkey.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Rub it down with tons of butter.
Take a stick of butter and just rub it on the outside every 30 minutes until that's done. Have another stick melted for brushing up. I mean, it's, this is the butter holiday.
It's the butter holiday.
It's the butter holiday.
Yeah, it is.
I just saw a reel yesterday from that Kendrick barbecue guy.
Yeah.
And he's doing a reel of his turkey. He separates the skin from the breast, and then he proceeds to just stuff whole sticks of butter up between the breast and the skin, like literally 2 sticks for each breast.
Yes.
And I was like, yes. That's
That'll do it. That'll do it.
That's how you keep it moist and lubricated. Look, people, it's again, this is not a diet holiday.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's not.
If you want, go get a salad somewhere. Do that, or enjoy this holiday, and then the rest of the year just be like, all right, look, we did it hard on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But what I've done in the past is I make compound butter ahead of time. I'll roll it up in the logs and wax paper, and then I'll go and cut off little, compound butter hockey pucks and just stuff them all up underneath between the skin and the breast.
Yeah, I actually, the first time I made, it's enormous amounts of butter. The first time I made the stuffing recipe, I read it and I thought, that can't be right. That's way too much butter. That can't be right. And sure, and I was like, oh no, that was correct.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it delicious.
That's what makes it delicious.
There's never too much butter.
So now we'll just make sure for Drew to put in parentheses, that's, yes, I said a box.
Yes, that much butter.
That much butter.
I can't believe there's that much butter.
Well, and so I do one on the smoker's one. This is one that I've been doing for years, from when we used to go up to your brother in Florence, up to his house. He does a big Thanksgiving, or tradition for years he did. So it was, family, a lot of friends. It was big. We were getting some, those big brown folding tables, getting 3 of those into a U shape. I mean, we were packing people and going through 15, 20 pies. It was a big event, and it was a multi-day. People up were, playing beer pong in the garage. Just everybody sleeping where you can. There were a bunch of people sleeping on the floor in the living room, sleeping bags.
Honestly,
but that's what it was. Just big. Everybody come here, and we collected everybody.
There
together.
weren't a lot of those Thanksgivings though that I didn't have a hangover. we would go really hard the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, I mean, my brother's a savage. I don't know how he does it. Like he before everybody goes to bed, like made sure the turkey was in the oven and like ready to turn on and clean the whole kit. Like, but I was just a wreck like every time.
There were several years.
Trot.
There were several years that Stephanie did not eat any Thanksgiving dinner.
I was so hungover.
She was so hungover.
And then it was so hungover. It was like, this is terrible. This food, but it tasted just as good the next day.
Well, and so they would do a turkey in the oven, and then someone would bring a ham, right? And then I would do my turkey out on. I had one of those old kettle smokers that I brought up because this was back when I had 3 or 4 different smokers, and Stephanie said, "This is outlandish. You can't have this many," which was reasonable because we were living in a townhouse. That was a lot of smokers for a townhouse. So I brought one of them, this kettle one. I brought up to Steph's brother's house. I said, "Look, this lives here now." And so what I started doing there was spatchcock the turkey, right? Backbone out, all the rib bones out, breastbone out, lay this thing out. And we now do a brine on it. I didn't originally.
No, we didn't.
But we do now. And brine is similar citrus and rosemary, thyme, sage type thing. And but here's what I do for this turkey. So get the smoker up to temperature, right? And then I take tangerines and lemons and slice them into slices about a 1/4 inch thick, something like that. So you need a bag of tangerines, a whole bunch of lemons. Slice them, and then I would lay those on the grate on the smoker, make a complete layer alternating lemon and tangerine, and then lay whole sprigs of rosemary and a little bit of thyme, and then take the bird and lay it skin side up right on top of that bed, and then let it smoke on that. So you're getting the citrus is stopping any flare-ups from hitting the bird, right? You're getting the good smokiness, and then you're getting that nice citrus and rosemary and thyme flavor soaking up into all the meat.
And it looks very pretty.
Oh, it looks so fun. It really does.
Nice when you're done we put it on a platter. It just looks beautiful with all the tangerines and the rosemary. It's very pretty.
They're like the grilled tangerines and lemons and everything. It's really fun. It looks fun and festive.
Yeah, my brother learned too. I don't know if anybody else does this. They had very limited oven space and they were doing a lot of food. So I think like year 2 or 3, they ended up buying this oven, cooker that would fit a turkey that sat on the countertop.
It looks like
it's kind of like a crock pot.
Kind of like a crock pot, it looks like. But it's not. It ends up being like a crock pot oven type thing that holds a turkey.
They cook the turkey in that on the countertops that they had their oven space. And actually, I was a little skeptical the first year, but it was the juiciest. It's like it just sits in this little dome.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It gets roasty on top, but like steamy on the inside.
It's really good.
It was really good. They put a flavorful liquid in there, so it like infuses. Yeah. It was bomb.
I'll have to ask my brother
good.
what I genuinely don't know the brand or what this thing is, but it was like they just got it one year out of necessity, just thinking like we can't have the turkey in the oven all day, and we're gonna try this thing, and then ended up being like a great alternative. So other people do that.
I'm telling you, and that was the thing with these Thanksgivings. Look, we're gonna have 30 people here, and we have really limited cooking, a small single oven. How do we make this work? And we made it work, and it was just always so great. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah,
and I'm getting excited for the holidays. I'm getting excited for that, but but I also know that I might be idealizing.
Yes, and we'll talk about that. But let's get through the food aspect. Yeah. So we've banged out a couple of side dishes, right? The stuffing, some potatoes. No, go, Steph, go. Yeah.
I was gonna say the great debate, almost as I don't know, almost up there with our chili debate, but cranberry.
Hold on. Why are you bringing up chili right now? We are having a very nice, pleasant conversation, and you bring up something contentious like chili.
I know. I'm just saying
You're doing it right now because you know I'm outnumbered. Is that why this is happening? Because I'm fucking outnumbered? This is bullshit.
This is just also something that people can get emotional about. It's like, do you like homemade cranberry sauce, or do you like the jelly in the can?
Ooh.
You know?
Homemade.
What say you, Huey family?
For years my mom had done the in the can stuff, and then she started doing in the can stuff because my sister liked it, and then the homemade stuff. And that's where I discovered, oh, this is really what cranberry sauce is.
Yes.
And I actually started enjoying cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
So 100% the homemade stuff, the in the can stuff, I'm sorry, it just doesn't look right. You know, being all can shaped and everything.
You
don't like the sliced circles?
What do I do with this?
You know what canned cranberry sauce is good for? Emergency situations. Like when it's not even Thanksgiving and the power is out and you're out of power for, who knows how long.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting on the shelf and you need something to eat. That's when it's good.
So funny. Yeah, well, I grew up on that.
Now, Monica, did your family do the canned, or have they always done the homemade?
You guys talk about all this family stuff, and so for the longest time, I felt like our side has always been try to be traditional as much as possible.
Yeah.
My parents for the longest years with their catering trucks, like I felt like it was always like, can I get a break? But I'll cook,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going back to the cranberry thing, I never really liked it because it was cranberry in a can sauce.
Yeah.
And my mom would serve it, and I just like, are you gonna do anything with that, or just leave it on the plate and
just leave it like in the whole cylinder?
Yeah.
As it was born.
Oh, okay, let me fix that. And then you basically do like slices, so then it looks like slices of beets.
I mean, I'm not trying to undertalk our traditions, but like for me, for the longest time, I never really paid attention to that because there was like no thought put into that. So it's like, for me, it was just like, okay, whatever. But everything else, like, I was all in. I was always like, who's doing this? Who's doing that? Green bean casserole. That's another dish.
Yeah.
That's a staple. A staple.
Yeah. That's my brother's favorite.
That's also my favorite as well. I combine the green bean casserole with the stuffing on my plate and then covered in gravy, and it's amazing.
It all mixes so well.
It does.
So well.
I don't have an opinion on that because I never really took the time to actually care for it because it was just there as a thing to look at. I guess
I never, in my entire childhood, never had cranberry sauce because my grandma did the cylinder. You know what I mean? It was like, and back in the day, it was take the can opener to both ends, so that you can get it out without any problems. Okay. Yeah.
My grandmother was the 1950s cook.
Yeah.
Like that's what I grew up on, was the can, because that was what my grandmother did.
Yep.
It actually wasn't until I married Travis, and they must have switched it up at some point before we met, because his mom did fresh. And my mind was blown at how easy and fast it is.
Easy.
How delicious.
Yeah.
So now we do both, but nobody touches the canned except for me. And really, I just save it for turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
The fresh goes fast on Thanksgiving, and then I have the leftover canned for my sandwiches.
Well, and we talk about it being easy. So Nick, your household, you serve fresh, right?
Yep. This year, however, we're not going to have cranberry, we are. Our neighbor's going to be making it, but it's going to be, homemade cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Bag of cranberries, some sugar, some orange zest.
We just started doing orange juice, fresh orange juice, and
a little bit of orange juice in there and some orange zest.
And that kicks it up a notch too. And that was something my cousins brought to Thanksgiving a couple years ago. I was like, I will be doing this from now on.
Yeah.
Throw some orange in there. It's delicious.
The sugar breaks the cranberries down. A little bit of orange juice for a touch of sweetness, and the orange zest for some brightness. I mean, it's just put it on the stove and stir it every now and again, and it's done.
It's done. The cranberries pop open in minutes.
Yeah,
it's fast.
Is that your style and how you do it, or do you have a twist on that?
Yeah. That's how my mom's made it.
I always make that the day before because it sits well in the fridge and.
Yep. And it kind of gels up a bit, and then it's easy to reheat.
That's an easy.
Here's a word
that's
question.
definitely a day before.
Would you guys have like a backup in the sense of meat, not just turkey, but like a ham?
We never have, because we run the two birds. So when we've done Thanksgiving in our house, we always do the two birds. But yeah, I mean, when we did up at her brother's house, because of the number of people, there were all multiple meats and like that, two birds and the ham. But for us, we've never done a backup meat. No. What about you?
Well, we've always had turkey.
Yeah.
And ham.
And ham. Okay.
For the longest time, I love my brother, but for the longest time, him and my sister-in-law were always, no, we'll do ham. We'll bring the ham. We'll be in charge of the ham. And then one Thanksgiving.
But you have to explain why they were all about the ham.
Well, I guess it just depended on who cooked the turkey and whether it tasted great or it was dry. They just opt for ham.
Yeah.
At least that's what I narrowed it down to.
Yeah, because there's because there's the basters and the
I'm not them,
non-basters.
so or maybe they just really did not like turkey, and I just and
until they met me,
until they met you, and
yes.
It was the first year, and he spatchcocked the turkey. And
I wasn't even there.
And he wasn't
I
even
smoked,
there.
spatchcocked it. That was actually the first year I spatchcocked turkey.
Yeah.
I spatchcocked it, smoked it, and then had it in the roasting pan, covered it all in foil, gave it to her, and she drove over the hill to go have Thanksgiving with her family.
Yes.
And then I smoked another turkey for my family.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I wasn't even there at their Thanksgiving. But apparently I got a lot of kudos.
Yes.
I love it.
So now there's
the ham didn't even get touched.
apparently.
They
Yes.
stopped
And the
in
turkey-
I don't
the
remember
middle
it
of the
getting
meal.
touched.
The turkey was decimated.
They stopped in the middle of the meal. Everybody joined hands. Little Bette Midler. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Right?
I don't know. That's how I felt the first time I had a basted turkey.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, I'd had
How many
difference.
people?
I would have brought a ham as a backup if I wasn't a child.
Hell yeah. How many people? How many people growing up thought that you just eat turkey because you're supposed to, and wondered why the hell that ever became the tradition? You know what I mean? Because they're just eating this dry, not enough gravy in the world, and then you grow up and you get a nice, brined, well basted turkey, and you go,
say the word.
this
Moist.
is what it's about. Moist. That's right.
Juicy.
What? We have to
tender.
do content for our OnlyFans page.
Oh my god.
That's where we get the money, Steph. You wonder how we pay for these
And
houses
then
we have.
Thanksgiving following after that Thanksgiving, coming to the Hueys, I what didn't Angel bring one?
Yeah, about a ham.
And nobody touched it.
Nobody really touched it, but my mom was happy about it because
Yes.
she's like, "Ooh, cool! I'm making split pea soup after."
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
I love
what
it.
she did.
My brother went for seconds or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah. How
so
fun.
I think
Guess they're having ham this year since we're not there.
since we're not there, yeah.
When
When I text the whole family, "Hey, we're staying here in Oregon for Thanksgiving," everybody was like, "Wait, what? Huey's not going to cook?" I
No
go,
Huey
he's
turkey?
cooking, but he's cooking here.
they're reserving pizzas and all kinds of backup foods.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk desserts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've all just stuffed ourselves on all kinds of meat and
The important part
stuffings
here.
and gravy all over everything, and yeah. Little break. Everyone's had a beer, and now we go into dessert. What are we doing?
Well, I guess that's where I'm gonna come in.
Fuck it.
So we went to Costco not too long ago. I bought this big box of apples, and I'm just like, you know what?
We have apples left over.
Yeah, let's make an apple pie. And then he was like, how about a apple like pie cream cheesecake? Sorry,
Cheesecake apple pie.
cheesecake apple pie.
Cheesecake apple pie.
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration come from for
So
this?
I
I've never
originally
heard of
thought
such
of I don't know if you ever had it before or ever had any pies from Marie Callender's. I don't even know if
Never
they're
heard of
still
them.
Okay, so
No one's
Marie,
ever heard. For our listeners who've never heard of Marie Callender's, why don't you break it down, Nick?
Marie Callender's was like, I guess maybe a step above Denny's in terms of food, but what Marie
Really good
Callender's
pie.
was known for was their pies.
Yeah,
Really good pie.
And so, and the pies that that my parents and I particularly liked were they made like these sour cream fruit pies.
Oh.
And so like they had like a sour cream cherry, a sour cream apple, sour cream blueberry. And so basically it was like a a pie with like a graham cracker crust.
Yeah.
And you had your fruit preserve filling on the bottom side, and then on top of that was a layer of like this sour cream whatever, but it wasn't like just sour cream. It was like clearly sour cream mixed in with some kind of like either cream cheese or something.
Yeah.
So it had kind of like a cheesecake effect over the top of your fruit filling.
Wow.
And so that's I had originally thought like, yeah, let's do like a sour cream apple pie, but then I thought like, okay, let's do like a cheesecake apple pie.
That
So
sounds
yeah,
great.
she found a recipe for a cheesecake apple pie. That's what she's gonna do.
No kidding.
You
Because
guys,
I have a
this is gonna be
graham
the best-
cracker crust.
Yeah.
So then it's filling with the
apples.
No, it's the cheesecake
Oh,
portion
okay.
first, and then you treat the top like as if you were doing
Like
an apple
pie feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so do
And then
you
crumbles.
is it a multi-stage cook? Like do you put the cheesecake type filling, do a cook, bring it out of the oven, put the apples, or how do you even go about constructing this?
Well, if I read the recipe right, it's like just all in one. Well, I think you make the apple pie filling first,
Yeah.
and then at the same time you're making the cream cheese filling. Then you put the cream cheese filling first, then top it off with the apple pie filling.
Which honestly you might be able to get away with it doing as kind of like a no bake thing as well.
I think
Yeah.
Because it's just a cream cheese mixture. There's no I don't think that calls for egg in that mixture at all. So there's
No.
technically you don't have to bake.
No.
Did you guys know that Philadelphia makes a no-bake cheesecake filling?
Wow, really?
Yeah, I just learned
Nice.
this. Yeah, like what a quick way to make all
I'm
kinds
gonna
of
have to go
delicious-
looking for this.
Yeah, it comes in
for
a tub,
sure.
and it's a no-bake cheesecake filling. You can make all kinds of stuff like that.
That's
Where in
awesome.
the store do they have this?
I don't know. I would assume like
It's not over by the cream cheeses, is it? I've
I don't
never
think
seen
it's by
this.
the cream cheese. I would assume maybe it's by the pie.
Maybe.
No,
Crazy.
but yeah, I just learned about this too.
Well, what goes into the cream cheese filling on this? What are the
I'm gonna
basics
cheat
on
my-
this?
this time?
I'm gonna say probably cream cheese itself.
Yeah. Fair.
And then probably some powdered sugar.
I would guess, yeah.
And
Yeah, so cream cheese, sugar, vanilla, flour. Oh, there is one egg.
okay.
Ah, okay.
No biggie.
No biggie. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Brilliant.
like,
All right.
Don't hurt anybody.
So you whip that all together and that's it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Brilliant.
then you're just layering it up, and then
And how are you doing your apple topping?
the recipe does have, so it's just sliced apples, butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg,
Yeah.
lemon juice, cornstarch,
Mm-hmm.
water.
Nice. Okay, so you're going with the cubed apples instead of slices.
Yeah.
And then it has, so the third layer is the crisp topping, which is flour, brown sugar,
So basically like a crumble.
oats, yeah,
Yeah.
cinnamon,
Yeah.
nutmeg, and melted butter.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Okay, for our Dutch listeners, like a streusel, if you will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Dutch listeners.
We have a Dutch well, we at least one time in the last 90 days someone Dutch listened to our show. So,
Nice.
hi,
And
streusel.
then
Yeah,
the
that's for
other
you.
part that I want to do, or want with some apples, is Thanksgiving sangria.
Ooh. Tell us about that.
Thanks to Instagram. So it's just apples and orange, lemon, cinnamon sticks, ground cinnamon, maple syrup, apple cider, brandy. They use Sauvignon Blanc, but it says I can use any type of white wine. And then top it off with club soda or ginger beer. Oh, it does say optional.
Nice.
Add some bubbles.
That's really good.
Oh, that sounds bomb. That's and listen, anybody who's listening to the audio only and is not watching, Monica had to move her gobble out of her face multiple times while she was trying to get through that, which I love, is absolutely awesome. If you're just listening, you need to go to YouTube and check it out because we all have turkey headwear. That's real.
Her turkey headwear kind of reminds me of Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'll say.
Absolutely. Yeah, we haven't mentioned it yet, so everybody who's audio only is just finding out right now. But yeah, we have.
I appreciate the turkey legs on Steph's head because as she moves, it's like the legs are like, oh.
It's so great. It's so, and we're like just being all serious, like talking food, and these little like drumsticks are just bobbling around. Well, now Stephanie, you do a couple of desserts here.
Yes.
One of which is one of my all-time favorite desserts, and I'm picky about it.
The pecan pie.
Pecan pie. I'm real serious about my pecan pies.
Yes.
It's been my favorite holiday dessert my entire life. And there's right ways and wrong ways to do it, and I'll stand by that. And anybody who disagrees, I'll fight you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother always did apple and pumpkin, but I had pecan.
Yeah.
After I met Travis, he and his sister are pecan freaks.
Oh yeah.
They love it.
Love
pecan, not pecan.
That's right.
Yes,
that's
love
right.
It. Yeah. Yeah.
Go tell everybody how you do it right.
You just use way too many pecans.
Yes. Don't skimp on the pecans.
And you fill the pie crust with the pecans prior to the filling.
Yes.
They kind of rise up and bake very pretty.
Yeah.
2 reasons.
They float to the top.
So many people pour in the filling and then sprinkle the pecans on top. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. That's fine. I'll eat that. Right?
It's not fine.
Huh?
It's not fine.
It's not fine. You're right. God damn it. Here are the 2 problems with that. 1, there's not enough pecans in there. And 2, you don't get the candying effect on the pecans. So instead, what's the proper order to do this, Stephanie?
You pour in the pecans.
Pour in the pecans first, and then you pour on the filling. It's very simple, and you go kind of around, and you let the filling go over the top of all the pecans because that filling has a lot of that, beautiful Caro syrup in there, and what have you. And what that does when you're cooking it, it then kind of crisps up, and it makes like a praline on the pecans, and then you've got pecans the whole way through. And that's what Thanksgiving is about.
Very serious about the pecan pie. We always have to have a pecan pie.
Yes. If you don't, is it really Thanksgiving? I say no.
I did have a pecan pie a few years ago with my cousins, and they made it with molasses, and it was good. It had a very nice different flavor, but Travis being like needing to have the pecan pie so specifically.
Yeah. Yes.
I think he could appreciate it, but we will be making it the same way.
Yeah, that sounds delightful. It sounds wonderful. Don't bring it to Thanksgiving.
Right, it was molasses.
It's probably very good, right? Brown sugar, The reason it's brown is because of the molasses and what have you. Some good flavors. I like it. Don't get me wrong. But look, let's not screw around with the pecan pie, right? Just get it right. It's very important. It's the staple of Thanksgiving.
Yep. And then I make pumpkin and delicata squash.
What's a delicata squash, Stephanie?
Yeah.
It's like the oblong shaped squash with stripes. It's very pretty. It's green. And
That's what that's called. Okay.
Yeah.
That is
I
a
just call it a
delicata
striped
squash.
It's a cousin of the pumpkin.
It is a cousin of the pumpkin.
It's very good. And the pie tastes very much like a cousin to the pumpkin.
Most people see those and go, this is a decoration squash. And you'll find them decoratively on tables around Thanksgiving and Christmas and like that because they're pretty. They're cool.
That's what I do. I use them as decoration and then I cook them for... You turn them into a pie.
Because they're really bomb as a pie. Really good. Yeah.
They're good. Yeah. I love the pumpkin. And I do buy I use actual pumpkins and squash because it's not that hard to cook
the sweetie pie pumpkins or whatever those little
sugar pie.
Sugar pie, yeah.
Sugar pie pumpkin, yeah.
And so and the delicata squash.
When you have the time, I don't mean to say like it's not hard if it again just have the time.
Right.
Right now we have a toddler, so I would probably buy it.
It's not hard, it's time consuming.
It's time consuming. It's like, none of it's hard. Just do you have the time? So,
but the delicata, how does it differ from the pumpkin when you're making the two pies?
I know it's very similar.
Very similar.
It's very similar.
Lighter in color.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lighter. I think it kind of has a lighter flavor overall.
Much lighter flavor. Yeah. I think we generally go with slightly less spice on it than we would with a pumpkin pie.
We do more egg.
More egg. You have to have more egg. This is very real. You have to have more egg. Do we throw an extra egg yolk in there also?
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while to get
keep
right.
the texture consistent between the two.
Otherwise, it doesn't hold together as well. But if you put that extra egg and then I think an extra egg yolk, I'd have to check. We've over the years tested it many times, but that gives it that consistency that really makes it happen.
Yeah, and then I'm still looking to perfect and get a really good crust recipe. I know it's all about the butter and like lots of butter in it, but I usually just buy a Marie Callender's crust.
Yep.
And make my pies using that. So that's my like cheat.
Frozen Marie Callender crusts. They come in a 2-pack.
Yeah, and then I always use an extra one. I buy extra and then I'll have a little cookie. I have cookie cutters that I cut out leaves and things to decorate the pies with.
Yes.
So you can just use the extra pie crust to do
Yes.
that with.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like a little leaf shape cookie cutters and everything, just cut out that extra crust, lay them on top.
It always looks really nice.
Yeah.
Adds a little extra.
Yes, it does.
When you don't actually make your pie crust.
Makes it look fancy.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
But and now I'm a fan of the pecan pie now after Travis.
Hell yeah.
I think I like it more than pumpkin now.
Yes, it's a good pie.
And it's a once a year pie too. Pecan pie is it's just pure sugar.
It's not
unless
good
you're in the
for you.
South.
Don't ever look at what the calories. I made the mistake of looking at the calories on the pecan pie like at some point recently.
Yeah.
With all
It's like
that
1,200
Karo
calories
syrup.
in one slice.
It literally says like 1,200 calories a slice, and I'm like, oh, I'll bet that's not for as big of a slice as I cut.
Yeah, probably.
I wish I'd never looked this. No, but it's delicious. It's the once a year pie for sure.
Yeah.
That's really only when we have it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving calories don't count though.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you, Monica. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of family that has their pie with coffee the next morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you all do that? Next morning breakfast, slice of leftover pie and some coffee and start your day off with a sugar bomb?
Sometimes
I just have stuffing and green bean casserole for breakfast.
So I'm trying to think, did we is that it?
You do a cardamom braid bread.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to get into that?
Wow.
The cardamom braid bread, it also came from my Taste at Home magazine, and
Just real quick, hold on, I'm off camera here. Taste of Home magazine. If you're listening right now and you would like to send us
They're
some
good.
money, we will. Do you hear how wonderful we're talking about you? We'll do that every episode.
They're
You
really good
can
recipes.
Patreon.com or you're just write us
Taste of
one big
Home.
check. Either way.
It's a holiday staple in our house and has been for years. I only will do. Travis is the artisan bread maker in the family. He makes amazing loaves of bread in our Dutch oven. I don't do that. He can get them really pretty. The only bread that I make once a year is the braid bread on Thanksgiving or Christmas. Very simple.
So good.
So pretty. And just cardamom, I think, has such a fall flavor.
Oh yeah.
And you just use I think it's like a quarter teaspoon maybe of cardamom, but it makes the bread just so flavorful.
Oh yeah.
And it it looks really pretty. It makes 2 loaves, the recipe that I have, and it's just honey as the sweetener, flour, obviously yeast, but it's such a treat, this bread.
Yeah.
And yeah, got it from the Taste of Home magazine.
Awesome.
Taste of Home magazine. Hit us up. Contact at hoppytrailspod.com.
It's so
I'll go subscribe.
beaten up over the years, and we're pretty close to making it through every recipe.
Yeah.
I broke down, and my grandmother used to make Jello molds. That's also the 1950s thing. My grandmother would do the green Jello mold with the cottage cheese flour on the top. That classic.
It's fucking horrifying. It's horrifying.
That used to be a thing.
Jello molds, get out of here.
That used to be a thing. And the Taste of Home magazine had a Jello mold recipe, and I actually bought my first Jello mold a few years ago just to try their version, because I thought, well, that's something that my grandmother traditionally made. Maybe I can have my own spin on it. And Taste of Home has not steered me wrong.
How was it?
It was.
You fucking lie.
It wasn't bad.
I've just never been a Jello person. Even as a kid, I always avoided eating Jello.
Yeah, I won't do it again. But it was fun that one year to try it out. But this one it had strawberry and cream cheese, and so I thought that would be a lot better than the cottage cheese green one my grandmother made. But it was still Jello at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's not. Don't do it. You're just we'll do some retro. Don't. It's not good.
There's a reason we don't do it anymore, I don't think, or you don't see it as much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It's at a much lower level than canned cranberry sauce.
It is.
You're damn right.
It is.
You're damn right.
But I will say my grandmother was very good at her Jello molds. She would use food coloring to color they all had a flower on the top from them. Anyways.
No. No, just stay away from it. It's no good. It's no good. What about you, Huey family? Any additional food items that cannot be missed for Thanksgiving?
Oh, well, so unfortunately we won't have it this year. But my mom usually makes something that I've normally told her when I know that we're gonna have Thanksgiving. I always ask her, "You're making the corn pudding, right?" She said, "Obviously."
Corn pudding.
I love corn
pudding. It's basically like cornbread, but softer, much softer, and it just, to me, it is so good. And that's another item where, for leftovers, I will take the corn pudding and mix it with the yams, and it
Ooh.
is such a good, tasty, sweet and savory dessert.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the best part about Thanksgiving to me, is the leftovers.
Mhm.
I love, Travis makes fun of me because I love a turkey and cranberry sandwich. I order it when we go to delis, and he gets upset because he's like, get real deli meat. Why
Listen,
get a turkey sandwich?
outside of Thanksgiving, turkey is the lowest of the sandwich meats.
And
I said it.
Meanwhile, we eat it for breakfast every single day now.
I'll tell him. Well, yes.
I would
Whatever.
tell him, I said they wouldn't have it on there if people didn't like it. It's
Tell 'em
usually
losing
called
weight.
Pilgrim.
Yep.
Or,
Often called the Pilgrim. Yep.
yeah.
Or the
the
Gobble.
Pilgrim's Progress, isn't that at Eric's Deli?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
that's the one that that's my go-to. I
Yeah.
love it.
Look, I'm
Who
going
is
to throw
Eric?
this out here, all right? And these are just facts. These are just facts. This is real. You can disagree with them if you like. You're just, fucking wrong. But here's the deal. We need to have a lot of turkeys on Thanksgiving and some for Christmas, because some people have turkey for Christmas because they're heathens. I don't know why they do it, but they do. So you have to have a lot of turkeys. And here's something that people may not know. you can't just magically have a lot of turkeys. You've got to keep up a population of turkeys year round. Well, what do you do with all these turkeys when it's not Thanksgiving? You still have to be turning them over. And so what they do is they make it sandwich meat. And then they make it try to be other meats. And they're like, oh, this one's turkey pastrami. Get out of it. That's not turkey pastrami. How dare you? How dare you? Offensive. I can see Nick, he's got a tear in his eye right now hearing turkey pastrami. Terrible. But so that's and that's why turkey, I think, traditionally is the least expensive of the lunch meats. Is it bad? No, it's not bad. I think it's overpushed in a lot of situations, but it's good. You get a boar's head smoked peppered turkey. Come on, man, who's going to be mad at that? It's going to be delicious.
Or the Dietz and Watson bacon lovers turkey.
What? Bacon lovers turkey? What is this?
Dude. So bacon lovers turkey is where, they emulsify the turkey meat to put it into that big block of turkey that they slice off.
Yeah.
But once they've turned it into that, then they wrap it in bacon and then they smoke it and then they package it. So when you slice it off, all the edges of the turkey is just a little bit of bacon around the edges.
Oh, I like that. That sounds wonderful.
It's about
So this is the thing.
It runs about $12 or $13.99 a pound or so.
What doesn't these days?
Yeah.
What doesn't these days? I'm telling you, man, I went to pick up some lunch meat just recently. The least expensive one that was on sale was, I think, $11.99, and it's just nuts.
Sounds right.
Yeah. What happened to the bygone days of yore of 2 years ago of the ham off the bone on sale for $5.99?
Right.
Insane. Yeah.
Sadness.
Well, before we get into a discussion about economics, why don't we wrap up this segment about food and turkey and all of that, and we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, there will be, other content. We're recording this out of order, so I don't remember what's next. But
we'll close this out with how to handle your family.
That's it. Yeah. So we'll be back in just a little bit.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey everyone, Travis with Hoppy Trails here. I am over at Santa Cruz Cider in Watsonville. I didn't even know this place was here. We were headed over to Slough next door and saw this open and I thought, man, I've got to go inside and check it out. Super glad I did. We're in here. You can see some barrels behind me aging some different ciders. This place is really cool. Not a big place, but they do some fermenting next door in the other warehouse space. They have a ton of different ciders. We've got some that are dry, some that are sweet, right? This one has some wine grapes in it as well for some additional flavor. So many different things. I've got this. This one is Oh Snap Seasonal Dry Cider with fresh ginger. Okay, we're looking at 6.9%. Oh man, you can smell that ginger in there. It's not overpowering, but just nice. It really goes well with that tart apple. That is excellent. This is a really, really excellent cider. Dry, as I said, 6.9%. A little on the higher end for ciders, but very good, very dry, not sweet, light and crisp. I'm gonna try this. Don't Make Me Blush. This is a 6% seasonal, right? And if you can see me looking down, I'm looking at these cards that come with each tasting. This one says, cider is a blend of our Wooden Tooth Special Cider and fresh pomegranate juice from Tabor Ranch. Pomegranate juice. Pink in color with a fleeting tartness and mild fruity finish. There it is, pink in color, no doubt about it. I'm gonna give this a shot right now. Wow, that is good. It's got sweetness, not overly so. It's very nice, not cloying, still very light. This is good. You could absolutely, it says seasonal, but you could absolutely have this on a summer day, no doubt about it. Anyway, I'm gonna jump into the rest of these, do some tasting, and we'll catch you at the next stop on the Hoppy Trail.
Welcome back from that break. Let me tell you, got stuffed. We got stuffed. We did. Yeah. I hope you got stuffed too, or did some stuffing, or whatever you're into. Look, we're not here to judge. Get stuffed. It's on you.
I feel stuffed.
Excellent.
That probably came out
bad. Now, one of the things that you always have to figure out is which wine goes with this meal. And you have white wine with chicken and fish and red wine with beef. And What do you do with ham? And I don't know if it's that movie Go from the 90s. They very quickly said rosé, and I don't know. That's wine. That's not this show. But question still remains. What's the beer that you drink with Thanksgiving dinner? Nick, what is your go-to for Thanksgiving?
Usually a lager or a brown ale.
A lager or a brown ale?
I stay away from the heavy ones just because
Yeah.
I know what's about to happen. And drinking heavy beer, even like, double IPAs, even if they're like hazies or, that aren't so hop heavy, they have more fruity flavors. It's still just, it's too much. So
Yeah.
I stay away from the high ABV stuff unless it's in the form of another brown liquid.
Yeah.
But yeah, lagers and brown ales. Those are my go-tos.
You're looking for
those
something
are my
crisp.
normal go-tos.
You're looking for something to complement the things you're about to have.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to have turkey, right? Some people are having ham. Some people prime rib, maybe a goose, who knows? But traditionally, it's going to be a turkey, right? A lager goes very well with the turkey, right? It's light,
Absolutely.
it's crisp, all of that. Brown ale, maybe you've got your sweet potatoes or what have you, your stuffing. Brown ale is going to go really well. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. I see it. IPA. Listen, I always love an IPA, but
Yeah.
if you're getting an IPA in there, it's with a shoehorn, right? It's not there. It's not there to complement anything. It's just doing its thing. Yeah, I agree. Well, Nick, as I do sometimes, I read an article.
Oh no.
I was on the internet. Somebody had the audacity to write an article.
Travis looking for trouble.
November 24th, 2020. And fear not, this is not an episode of Travis reads article and gets mad. Don't worry.
This is a good article.
This is a happy article. This is Travis found an article and we're going to talk about it because it's kind of fun. And I think there's some good stuff in here. I like it. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the two previous articles that we've had a problem with are because there were people who don't know what they're talking about, who were making some very bold assertions, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
This article is very different. And this is the type of stuff I like. Is it fluff? Yes, it's fluff. But you're going to the people who know the subject matter. And this is a publication, highly renowned, probably. I don't know. I'd never heard of them before. It's called Inside Hook. Okay. And this is in their leisure section, subsection drinks. Right up our alley. And this is called The 12 Best Beers for Thanksgiving According to Professional Brewers.
Professionals. Cool.
Professional brewers. Subline is, we asked the pros what'll be on their tables this turkey day. And, Nick, that already spoke to my heart. They went directly to the people who are in the industry, who this is their passion in their life. Yeah, I don't have to agree with all of them, but at the end of the day, these are people who know what they're talking about. So here we go. We're going to jump right into this thing, okay? Victor Novak, he's the brewmaster at a brewery called Golden Road Brewing. I'm not super familiar with Golden Road Brewing.
Well, they make Mango Cart.
Do they make Mango Cart?
I believe that's Golden Road Brewing.
There you go. See this? Something I've never heard of. Nick knows about it.
But you've heard of the beer.
Oh, I've heard of the beer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, their brewmaster, we're going to assume, knows what he's talking about, right? He recommends Westmalle Double, which is a Trappist-style ale. Okay? 7%. Thanksgiving. I want something that's going to stand up to all that rich food, but not overwhelm it. Wonderful. Festive reddish-brown color, slightly spicy, classic Trappist yeast, complex, fruit flavors, etc., etc.
Got a little bit of the funk.
Little bit of the funk in there. Even wine snobs tend to not like it since it has so much character, but doesn't taste like beer. I don't know what that means, but I like what he's describing here.
Yeah.
And I think that he's got a good feel on it. Yeah, a good Trappist ale.
Definitely.
No reason not to have that. Makes sense. Here's a brewery that I've heard of. been to within the last year and just known for a long time. Kevin McGee, owner and CEO at Anderson Valley Brewing, right?
Oh,
Over there in
nice.
Boontville, up on the north side of that Golden Gate Bridge. You know what he recommends is a beer you've heard of, Nick? Russian River Brewing Damnation.
Oh, nice.
7.5% Belgian Golden Strong Ale. How about that?
Ooh, that's a heavy hitter for me.
It is. It's a heavy hitter, no doubt. Right? He talks about No Way to Go Wrong, done in the style of the Belgian Golden Strong Ales, one of his favorites. Remarkably versatile with all kinds of food. Great option as a core beer throughout. 100% Thanksgiving has a depth of flavor that makes it taste like a celebration. No doubt about it. With Thanksgiving, we're talking about a lot of different flavors. A lot of different flavor types are going to be involved there. And a beer like this, it does have the versatility to be able to match up, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now we go on to Eric Warner, who is the head brewmaster at Karbach, maybe Karbach? I think Karbach Brewing Company. Again, I'm not familiar with them. Haven't heard of them before. He goes with Bosteel's Brewery Triple Carmeliet, Karmeliet, Carmelite, Carmeliet. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Belgian style triple 8.4. Look at this. We're starting off with the Belgians.
Everybody's hitting on the Belgians. What's going on here?
Trappist Ale, Belgian Golden Strong, Belgian Triple. No doubt about it. Complex flavors, right? A lot of really good stuff in there. Let's see. Checks all the right boxes. Golden color, rich, lacy foam, effervescence, honey-like sweetness on the palate, fruity, even bubblegum-like aromas, clean, sweet finish, etc. Yeah, 100%. These Belgians, I mean, look, I'm having a brother Thelonious right now.
Nice.
These beers definitely do the trick. I'm agreeing with it. I'm liking it. I'm liking a lot of the feel here. Yeah. Stephen Hale, founding brewer at Schlafly Beer. You know Schlafly?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I have never heard. Now, Nick, this one's for you, okay? To pair with appetizers, brewery called Gaffel or Gaffel, Gaffel.
Okay.
Coming in with their Kolsch. 4.8% Kolsch. That's for the appetizers, right? As the food preparation and consumption ensues, like to start with light, crisp, refreshing Pilsner Kolsch or a cream ale, which my brother also likes. Do you not?
Yeah. Very nice.
Something to help whet the appetite, pair with the appetizers, not too spicy or overbearing. There it is. A nice Kolsch.
Excellent.
Now, when we come to the main course, here's a name that everybody should know. And if you don't know it, well, maybe you missed your chance. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Some recent news says maybe you'll get a shot again in another couple of years. To go with the main course, he says, Anchor Brewing's Porter.
Oh.
5.6% porter from Anchor Brewing. Now, as I said, Anchor Brewing recently went under. They're in receivership. There's a lot of things going on. There is a group of their employees who right now, Nick, as you and I talked about, are gathering the funds to make a bid to purchase all the intellectual property, take over the lease, and start brewing again. We'll talk about that. Nick, you and I are looking about participating. Don't want to get into it. So maybe you missed your chance if you haven't had it before, but maybe not. Maybe there's a comeback. But yeah, Anchor Porter, right? It's going to have some nice flavors, robust, lovely, drinkable. For some, lovely, drinkable pale ale. Others, hoppy or sour, all great choices. They likes to go with the porter. Enough body and chutzpah to stand up to the main course, as well as the sides, even creamed onions. Wonderful. I like that. And it's not so strong that you're going to be the first one to nod off at the table. Very important, as we talked about, right? 5.6%. You come in with a Belgian triple, as was recommended up above, right? 8.4%. Who knows? Maybe you don't make it to dessert. Speaking of dessert, he says to pair with dessert, Guinness Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Nick, are you familiar with that one?
I am not.
I have not had their Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Guess
That
what
sounds
ABV that
delightful,
comes
though.
in at?
Probably around 9.5.
10%. Very close. 10%. And he says, and now for the pies and dessert beers. Imperial Stout. Find them locally if you can. Lots of variations, but consider the Guinness Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Let's see. Also recommends, can't go wrong with a Bell's Expedition Stout. I am not familiar. I think I could get my hands on a Guinness a lot more easily. Yeah, a stout is always going to be good with dessert. You're going to have your coffees, your pies, especially when it comes around Thanksgiving. You're going to get a lot more of the, pumpkin and squash and nut pies and things like that. Don't get me
Yep.
wrong. A lot of people come in with the apple and berry and what have you, but those winter pies, nuts and squashes and like that, a stout's going to go very well. Now, Joel Shields, brewmaster at a place, Nick, you've probably never heard of, called Rogue Ales.
Huh. Sounds familiar.
Not ringing any bells for you, my friend?
Maybe I think we might have gone there half a dozen times or so.
Half a dozen times this last
various
month,
occasions.
maybe. Rogue, obviously an excellent brewery. I don't know how far their distribution is. They're up and down the West Coast, certainly. So, Nick, you and I, we were drinking those long before you moved up there. Obviously, now that you're in Oregon, you're closer to the brewery. I don't know how far east they go. I don't. But a lot of people should know them. If you don't know Rogue, here's the deal. Become a patron. Send me a DM. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out a way to get you one. Maybe not. Who knows? But you got a good shot of it. Anyway, Joel Shields, brewmaster at Rogue. His recommendation is, this goes completely contrary to everything we were talking about. Sierra Nevada Celebration IPA, a fresh hop IPA. A fresh hop IPA.
That
okay?
I can actually get behind. I can get behind the Celebration IPA.
And the reason I would say is probably because it's fresh hop, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly it. And that's why when I saw it on there, I thought IPA, but I thought, you know what? Fresh hop IPA. It's a harvest beer. Thanksgiving is that like final harvest celebration before you go into the winter. And, this is what they're talking about.
It was literally brewed for the holidays.
It was brewed for the holidays, absolutely, as a celebration. No doubt about it. Citrus, pine aromas taste great when paired with a Thanksgiving feast. And, Nick, as we've talked about many times before, when I smoke a turkey, obviously Stephanie does her turkey that she does in the oven, traditional style, brined, stuffed, what have you. But I am out in the yard.
I'll do 2 turkeys?
Oh, you better believe it, my brother. The smoked turkey that I do is I debone it. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing, the magic of editing. You and I are recording this right now, but there's a segment that came just before this where we talked about my smoked turkey. So I'm not going to talk about it right now because I know tomorrow we're going to talk about it and it's going to go in the segment before this. But citrus and piney type aromas are involved in my smoked turkey. So everybody that's gotten this far in the episode, it'll make sense to them and it'll make sense to you tomorrow. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have Josh Knowlton, who is the brewmaster at Outpost Production Brewery, Devil's Backbone Brewing Company. I have never heard of them before, but that
name actually does
name.
sound familiar. I feel like I've heard of it before, but definitely never had it before.
Here's the thing. I wish in this article they would put where they were out of, something like that, so I could just see like, oh yeah, maybe I have heard of them. This is one that, Nick, you're going to agree with. To pair with appetizers, Basic City are daily pills. Pilsner, 4.7%. Right?
Right on.
Low ABV. He says here, low ABV so you can hang in till dinner time. Very real. Very real. When you're doing appetizers and snacks and what have you, don't start dropping that, 13% Dump Truck of the Gods by Dust Bowl. Man, you put 2 of those down.
Up that delicious dinner.
You are not going to get to dinner. You're going to be passed out on the couch watching the Bears game, right? Nobody wants that. Stick around till somebody good plays. But yeah, so Pilsner, very nice, crisp, easy, nothing wrong with it. And then with the main course coming back around for a second vote, Sierra Nevada Celebration IPA. Great hoppy beer, fresh hop, medium body, plenty of hop character, very real. It's a very good beer. 2 votes. 2 votes.
Yeah, 2
Not
votes.
bad. Now, here's something that Nick, when he pairs with dessert, this is a brewery that you and I need to do a deep dive on, okay? Because I was
Okay.
introduced to them first when I went out to New York for a wedding, and I tried their IPA. And it
Okay.
was, it was decent. And then they started having it at the 49ers stadium, and I looked into it, I'm like, "Oh, these guys were purchased by, one of the big, conglomerates, and, oh, they're not really craft and everything." But then on the Reddits and the social medias, everybody's like, "Oh, they're posting these up," and I'm like, "What is this? These aren't craft." But it turns out they are, and they had some deal. Anyway, we've got to do a deep dive on these because it looks like these guys are doing some really good, crazy stuff.
Okay.
And it's a brewery called Goose Island. Do you know Goose Island, Nick?
Yes, I'm very familiar with Goose Island.
The crazy thing is my only
So
experience
they
with them is their IPA. That's it, which is, it's an IPA. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a
It's been around
special one
well,
or
they've been
anything.
around for a long time, but no,
Yes.
yes, you're correct. They were at the Niners games, but they started popping up at a lot of different sports arenas in the Bay Area.
Yeah. But what they're
they
known for is I guess their series is called Bourbon County,
Yes.
and I think they've been doing bourbon barrel aged stouts longer than anybody. I think they started it.
Okay.
I
Wow.
need to do some research, but like this is the thing is these
They're in Chicago, I think, right? Pretty sure they
I can't say for certain. They're East Coast for sure. They're
Okay.
or no, maybe yeah, Chicago's not East Coast. They're east of us. I'll give you that.
Yes, very east of us.
But
But I want to say that they were purchased by AB.
AB InBev.
Yeah.
But then I
and which
think
is what
they had some kind of a deal where they're like, these are going to be mass produced, but you have to still let us make these craft. And so I
Okay,
think
which is probably the Bourbon County stuff.
their line of Bourbon County stuff. And I see these. I see people posting like, "Hey, I've got this 2014 Bourbon County stout that I'm about to crack," and everybody's like, "Yes, oh," like, and I'm not hip to it. I'm just not, and it feels like I need to get my hands on them. And we've got to dig into it and find out what's going on. I feel like we're being left out, Nick. I really do.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to.
And so this, let me tell you. So he says with dessert, Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. Okay, listen to this. Barrel aged Imperial Stout.
Oh golly,
Guess the ABV.
13.5.
14.3.
Wow.
14.3% with dessert. Okay. He says a classic, a big beastly stout aged in bourbon barrels, rich, warming, and sweet. Plenty of bourbon flavor for that after dinner drink. Pairs well with almost any dessert.
I guess
gonna
that
agree.
eliminates the need to drink any bourbon.
Yes. Yeah.
I
14.3. That's
yeah,
it.
If the
And
food coma doesn't take you out, that will.
that will, right? That's your nighty night beer. No
Yeah,
doubt about
that is a nice nightcap.
it.
I'm down.
How about that with some pecan pie? Right? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
absolutely.
It's just gonna pair perfectly. And you're gonna be out. That's it. End of the night.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got to get some of these beers. We've got to dig in. We've got to figure it out. I feel like we've got to do a deep dive into Goose Island because I think there's some really interesting stuff here. And I think like I said,
For sure.
I think we're missing out on something. All right. Now, Rhett Doherty, head brewer at Visa Sur Brewing Company. VEZASUR. I've never heard of them. Okay.
Is it Baja?
Is it what?
Is it in Baja? It sounds like
Is it in Baja? I mean,
I
it
don't
could
know.
be.
Visa Sir sounds like it'd be.
Kind of sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Picks
I'll do
one
some
beer.
background research.
Beer he picks, coming in for 3 votes, Sierra Nevada Celebration IPA. 3 votes for that fresh hop bad boy.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
How about that? If I had to pick one beer to enjoy at Thanksgiving, it would be Sierra Nevada's Celebration, right? Immediately wonderfully amber hue, robust foam hits your senses, not until you smell that wonderful fresh hop aroma, right? Comes full circle. Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada's really making it happen here. 3 votes on this. That's not bad at all. And, I have to say, we did that deep dive a little bit before. Their pale
Yeah.
ale, I think, set a standard, right? We know Billy has seen Sierra Nevada out there in South Carolina where they've got that second production facility, right? I mean, they're getting bigger, but they're keeping that tradition of making really good beer. 100%.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we're getting down near the end of the list, okay? So we've got Natalie Carberry, Detroit head brewer at Founders Brewing Company. Nick, have you heard of Founders Brewing Company?
I have.
They are one of these breweries that are a lot of people's go-to. I haven't had, have not had, don't know where to find it. But I understand they're a big deal and I feel like we need to make a trip, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing big things. Natalie Carberry probably knows what she's talking about, okay? Here is her go-to for Thanksgiving. Dragon Mead Microbrewery, a beer called Sin Eater. All right? Belgian Dark Strong. Guess the ABV.
By that laugh, I want to say it's stupid high, but I'm gonna say probably around like.
It's not stupid high.
But I'm gonna say probably around 11%.
A 10%er. Yeah.
Okay.
A 10%er coming in, man. Look, these Belgians, these Abbeys, these Trappists, man, coming in with a big, strong showing in this list. 10%.
Yeah.
Dark, rich, sweet, notes of plums, raisin, caramel, right? This big boy is nearly a course itself. Would complement savory meat, stuffing, and definitely cranberries. 100%. Listen to this, right? Rich, sweet, notes of plum, raisin, and caramel. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That goes with Thanksgiving all day long.
Oh,
all
for
day.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then here we go for the final one to round out this article is Jason Santa Maria, who's the co-founder at Second Self Beer Company. Not one I'm familiar with.
Not familiar either.
Recommends a Saison Dupont avec les bons Voeux, which I'm sure I didn't say right. My
Nice.
friends in Louisiana could probably help me with that pronunciation. Saison, 9.5%. Right?
That's the other one that I was actually going to say. I feel like would probably be good with Thanksgiving dinner as a saison.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they said that this is a bigger version of their classic, lightly dry hop for added aroma, dry, peppery, earthy, fruity, citrusy, in a layered and nuanced way. I think realistically what we get from this list, and I don't disagree with any of it at all. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. Sierra Nevada Celebration is a beer that a lot of people in the industry are picking as a go-to, as a good beer. I don't disagree. It's a good beer. And I think it would go well with a lot of what's going on at Thanksgiving. But realistically, man, what we're seeing here, these Belgians, right? Get some of these darks, the triples, the golden strong, those Belgian and Trappist type flavors.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. They go well with what we're doing on Thanksgiving. Yeah, what do you think?
Absolutely. I agree. Now I'm gonna have to go dig through all my bottles, see if I got a Belgian to enjoy on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm going to be going up to my parents' house. We've got a lot of family that's going to be there. And the one piece of advice I always give is don't trust whoever's putting on the event to have the right beer. You know? They're providing beer. Wonderful. Thank them. What a nice thing. They're providing food.
Yeah.
They're providing beer, etc. But if you're going to the event Bring some beer.
Mhm.
Bring some beer you
Yeah.
know is going to be good. Maybe a couple to share, but enough to supply yourself at a minimum, right?
Definitely enough to share and hopefully enlighten some family members.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, if you could bring some people along for the journey. And look, I agree with everything on this list. The Kolsch, the Belgian triple, the much lighter porter at the 5.6%, maybe a 10% imperial stout at 13, or even some of the fresh hop celebration. You bring a smattering of these, you're going to find something that fits right for everybody that's going to be at the dinner, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Nick, you're going to are you going to your parents' house or are you having them up to yours?
Neither. We're just hanging out and we're having Thanksgiving dinner with our neighbors
Oh,
across the
nice.
street. So,
Excellent.
yeah. So, but we're obviously I'm doing a turkey and all of that. And yeah, should be pretty good.
Yeah, all the main courses and side dishes that we will have talked about in the previous segment, which
Correct.
I love because as of right now, I don't know what it is, but I guarantee that everything we talked about sounded delicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
uh yeah, good stuff. Well, I mean, what do you think? Any beers that you think that were left off of this list? Not specific beer and brewery, but styles maybe that you think were left off that should have been considered here.
I don't think so. I wouldn't go for Belgian, but I can get behind, with the flavors that you're getting out of a Belgian to complement most of the items that you're going to be eating. Um, the Imperial Stout or barrel aged Imperial Stout for dessert.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't be able to finish a whole can. I'd have to at least split it 2 ways, preferably 3 or 4 ways with people and make it more like a kind of a sipping thing for dessert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise I'm going to
Yeah,
be
I
passing
think
out
I
really
think for
quickly.
sure there, that's where those little 4 to 6 ounce glasses come in really handy, you know?
Exactly. Because at that point,
Yeah.
like a barrel aged Imperial Stout ends up being like a port wine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And yeah, and you just need a little sipping glass.
Yeah. Well, Nick, speaking of, things that come in small quantities and maybe good, end of the meal, little
Yeah.
digestif, as you will.
Oh yes, a little digestive. Um, if for those that you know, but those that aren't in the know, this is your friend. Let's see if I can get it up
Yes.
all nice and close. Underberg. So if you
Underberg.
go to more often than not, especially these days, you can go to your local tap room and they'll usually have a brown leather belt hanging on the wall with a bunch of
Yeah.
these all stuffed in the belt. And if they don't, you should ask them about it and that they should go call Underberg and order one. Because these are actually pretty handy, not just for if you've indulged a lot in food, but also an evening of drinking beer. This can kind of
Yeah.
settle your tummy down. It's a known as a digestif, um, made with a secret recipe of herbs that has been tightly held by the family for ages. I can't remember the year. I looked it up a while back, but we're talking like was it 19th century? Yeah, late 19th century or so.
Wow. Has it
Yeah.
really been around that long?
Yeah. Let me
That's
see here
crazy,
if it
man.
actually says on the bottle. But uh no, it doesn't say, but yeah, it actually says right on the bottle after a good meal.
Look at
But
here we go. I've got this on Wikipedia right now. June 17th, 1846, Hubert
yeah.
Underberg founded the H.
Oh
Underberg
yes,
Albrecht in
Hubert.
Rheinberg, Germany. Yeah.
Hubert.
Damn. 1846.
Right?
Yeah.
Um it's definitely a flavor that'll be a bit of a shock if you've never had it before. It's along the lines of Jaeger flavor, but in my opinion it tastes better than Jaeger. It's got some kind of
Yeah.
like a kind of a spice behind it. Um but
Here's my thought on is when you talk about Jaeger. Jaeger's thick,
yes.
right? And syrupy. It's got that It's got that mouth coating feel. Underberg does not. It's an
Very
herbal,
thin. Yeah.
very similar, but it's, as you said, thin. Yeah, so it does have that kind of Jaegerish herbal quality to it, but it doesn't have that syrupiness.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it goes down. Well, I mean, for the most part, it goes down easy. Once it hits your mouth, it just literally coats your entire mouth, and
Yeah.
it's an interesting sensation that it's like a kind of a light numbing of your mouth.
Yeah.
And as it goes down, you kind of a numbing of everything. But especially if you're like just kind of like you ate too much, overindulged, and you just kind of you take one of these little bad boys, and within about 20 minutes, you're gonna feel so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And as well, if you've been drinking a lot of beers. And Nick, as we just talked about on the break, I was looking at that video. We'll deep dive into this later, but depending on how you pour your beer, there may be a lot of CO2 still dissolved in that beer or
Yep.
released, depending on the pour. And so if you've been drinking a bunch of beers all evening, you may have a lot of CO2 in your stomach and feeling some of that bloat,
Yeah.
And
That's
the
why people
Underberg,
get gassy.
do they? Do they not? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where the Underberg, it comes in handy, and which is why we see it so many times at tap rooms and breweries, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that the one thing I find to be a downside on the Underberg is that the bottle has that tiny, tiny little opening in the neck there. And so it takes forever to pour into your mouth,
That's why you gotta, it's a little motion. Maybe sometime we'll get together and do a little reel of doing it, but you like gotta swirl it around in
Yeah.
the air, hold it between your teeth, and kind of swirl the bottle around, and it basically kind of creates that little tornado effect, and it
Okay.
yeah.
You cup the balls.
I've never really been successful at it, but whatever.
What I always find is that we go to it, and I want it to go down like a shot of Jaeger, but instead it's a slower process, and so
Yeah.
you've got to be ready for it because, man, it's a strong flavor. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
a strong flavor, and if you're not ready for it, you're gonna have a surprise at the minimum.
A surprise, yeah. It's it can be very sobering.
Yes. Yes, it can. Yes. Yeah.
But
Well, and
but at the
so
same time, it is not going to make you sober because it is let's say here 44%.
yeah. Is it really? Okay. All right.
It doesn't say ABV, but it just says 44% vol. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's 44% alcohol. So
Yeah.
no
That's
wonder it's a
that's
little tiny bottle.
that's
Literally
the
like
way the
half a shot.
Europeans say ABV. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
vol.
okay, that's crazy. I actually thought that as a digestif that it was maybe a lower, but no, that's real. It's a shot
That's
of Jaeger.
yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is those little bad boys there, first time I found out about them was, maybe, gosh, must have been 5-6 years ago now, something like that, and it was at a little place called Post No Bills in Sand City, which is
Oh
a
yeah.
tap room, and they've got the refrigerator cases full of cans. They're one of the first places in Monterey County that I ran into that had not only taps but cans to go, and they had those there, and one of my coworkers, as is his tradition now, he's known to do, after a few rounds, came back and had one of those for everybody at the table. And we thought, okay, let's see, let's go to it. It was a big shock. It goes down slow, as you said. So imagine taking a shot of Jaeger that takes you 30 seconds to drink, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Oh.
little rough if you're not
Oh
ready.
yeah.
But so, and then it became a thing that, now, we see them over at Alvarado Street, and we see them here and there. And so it's become a thing whenever I go out with this certain group that one of our coworkers, one of our fellows will, every time after we've had a few, all right, look, time for some Underberg. And we do it every time, and it keeps the night
Excellent.
going, as you
Yeah.
will. Yeah, and just to be clear, we're not being paid by Underberg, right? We have no connection with them. We've never communicated with them.
We'd love to have a connection with them.
However, Underberg, if you're listening right now, if you'd like to give us some product in exchange for us talking more wonderful things about you, we will do it. We are whores. Yeah, we will sell ourselves for your product, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Nick, how long have you known about Underberg? When did you first come across it?
Oh, man, probably like mid 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody had given it to me as a gift, and it was like a single Underberg in a little metal Underberg tin. It was like a little clamshell tin that was just big enough to hold the bottle.
Yeah.
And so I had that, and then there was I'm pretty sure it's still there in Redwood City, Gourmet Hausstadt. It's a little beer garden and German market. And they have Underberg there too. And the little market portion sells, or at least in the past they did. They're like these little square tins with like 12 Underbergs.
No kidding.
In it. Yeah. And it's like a very, kind of fancy looking Underberg tin. So
yeah.
But yeah.
My understanding is you can get these
great.
things basically everywhere. And I would say if you're out
You
and
can
you
get them on
see
Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. My thing is, if you're out and you see them, grab one, knock it down, see if it helps you out, see if you feel a little better in the morning. Because, like you said, Nick, it helps with that.
Oh, for
that
sure.
bloat and everything like that. You're just gonna feel better. Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. Well, I think that what we should probably do is maybe cut to another break here, and man, I know this is getting to be a long episode, but it is a Thanksgiving Gobble Gobble special, and so it is stuffed full of goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're here for you.
We're here for you. And that's what we're trying to get at is this next bit, we understand everybody goes through it. We have, family pains anytime we get together for the holidays.
Do we
You're
not?
not
Yes.
alone. Everybody, everybody goes through it. Everybody experiences it. And that's
Yes, you
okay.
do.
It's part of
Yeah.
life.
It is.
But the good thing is we're here to just talk with you, it's help you through this. Maybe you need to go hide out in the bathroom for a few minutes.
Maybe you do. We've been
Pop
there.
your AirPods in and give us a
Yes.
listen for a little bit. We're right here talking to you.
That's right. That's right. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get at you a little bit more.
See you in a bit.
Cheers.
Did you ever get the feeling that there was more to this world than meets the eye?
Ghosts, aliens, age, feet, interdimensional spirits, cryptids, North Dakota. Well, neither have we.
So come join us as we uncover the true stories and plausible explanations behind famous paranormal urban myths.
From the perspective of skeptics.
But it's funny. We promise it's funny.
So join us in the Least Haunted Podcast, because the only thing that's haunted here is you.
Ah!
Are you a new parent trying to find your way?
Or are you thinking of becoming a new parent and want to know what to expect?
Or do you not plan on having kids but just want to know what it's like?
Nobody without kids wants to know what it's like.
I'm Travis.
I'm Stephanie.
And we have just the show for you.
You, Me, and Squeeze, a new podcast where we explore the challenges of being new parents and everything we learn along the way. We'll talk about our experiences, different parenting philosophies and trends, giving our own perspectives, and talking about what worked for us and what didn't.
Let's face it, a lot has changed since our parents and grandparents were raising kids. So we're all kind of figuring out this new frontier for ourselves, and it can feel pretty lonely. So come join us for the journey where sometimes we'll laugh, sometimes we'll cry, but we'll always be real with you.
You, Me, and Squee. It beats listening to your childless aunt give her 2 cents.
Or any of your aunts, really.
Drunkenly mix metaphors and travel Hoppy trails.
All right, and welcome back. That was another good break. Everyone, thank you for hanging in with us. I know this is a much longer episode, but That's what we wanted to do. A little holiday special, really get into it. Just stuff this thing completely full of Thanksgiving goodness. Make sure that you're ready for your Thanksgiving in every way possible. And, that's where we want to come back with at the end here and just have a little bit of a wrap up, but really talk about something that is important and becomes a big factor that I think is neglected a lot of times. And that factor is, how do you really get ready to prepare with your family, who maybe is not, maybe they're not just like you.
Yeah. With all the delicious food, and come a side of family drama. Yeah.
Which, of course, we always want to avoid as much as possible.
Avoid if you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
The holidays can definitely be stressful when you get a lot of different dynamics and personalities into
For sure.
a room. That's if you are feeling that way about the holidays and it gives you some anxiety, you are definitely not alone. I think everybody has their own versions of what that looks like and feels like.
Yeah.
I know I can speak to that.
Absolutely.
So
well, and here's the thing, everybody who's listening early, if you want, just make a note of the timestamp here, and maybe when you get to Thanksgiving, it's going to be a tough one, and you've got some of those contentious personalities or what have you. Just if you need to take a break, step out, run over to the bathroom, go out to the backyard. Maybe you run to get some ice from the liquor store, whatever it has to be, and put this on. And let us be that little break, that little bit of support to help you get through and focus on the important things, which are the food and the beer.
Exactly. Food.
That's where your
and
attention
drink.
should.
Yeah.
That's it.
Eat,
and
drink, and be merry.
And be merry. And let us help distract you from all of the family drama.
And if that's not enough, you can always reach out to us in our DMs on Instagram.
Absolutely.
We'll take the time away from hanging out with our own family and chat with you.
Yes, we will. 100%. Yeah, because we're here for you. And really, here's the thing. We do this show because we love promoting the things that we love. People that are out there who are doing amazing things, right? Whether you're making a unique Peruvian style cheesesteak, or you're doing a type of pizza or beer or whatever it is. We do this because we love all that stuff and we love talking about it and sharing it. We're here to promote positivity. And everybody who listens to the show, whether you're a patron or not, right? All of you are the reason that we keep doing this week after week. And really, we feel like you are a part of this community. You support us and we want to support you back. We appreciate each and every one of you. We love all of you who listen to this show. Whether you regularly interact with us or not, we do. We love you. We love your support, and we're here for you as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just my one little tip would be for everybody going into the holidays, and this is something I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Is just to adjust your expectations. I think sometimes that's what always gets the best of us, is we have this idea in our mind about how the holidays will go, what we expect of others, and we don't have any control over what our family does. And the reality is that they're going to be exactly who they have always been on the holidays.
Yes, they will.
And so to not be surprised, to remind yourself of that, and to try to focus on what is the most important, which is really just the time
food and the beer. Oh, what? Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying? You had something else?
Yeah. I'm definitely an idealizer a little bit. Like, I'll have these ideas. It sets you up to fail and to feel disappointment. So, and not to stay too negative, because, there's a lot of good too, but I just know that the holidays are a particularly stressful time.
Yeah.
So I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I think that is important. And it's hard to say, adjust your expectations, not, in a negative way and just, presume everything's going to be terrible. But, again, go into it. Know who your family members are. Don't expect them to be somebody different. Expect them to be who they are, and be ready for that. And just take them as they are and say, look, this is my family member. I love them for who they are. They're going to be this way, and that's okay.
Definitely.
And sometimes when we're out in the world, like, we are our own people outside of your family of origin. You live your life, you're whoever you are in your career, you're who you are in your friend groups. And there is something about going home again that can be really hard because you fall back into this dynamic that's your family of origin, and people expect certain things of you, and maybe not that person anymore,
right?
Or if this is stuff that brings up feelings for people. So it's a real concept. It's a real psychological concept that I just wanted to highlight.
Which Stephanie knows because she is a psychologizer.
Okay.
She does the brain stuff, so she knows what's real.
Okay, just saying, it's a real thing. If you ever feel different when you go home, or like you've regressed a little bit, or stuff comes up and all of a sudden you're angry about something that happened when you were 5, like it's very real. It's like it's only these people that bring this shit out in me. Like, that's real. Like, it could be.
Yeah.
So again, just all to say that you're not alone, and there are a lot of other people probably feeling the exact same way, and we will make it through, and we will eat delicious food and drink good beer along the way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Do what I do and set the bar low so you'll never disappoint it.
There you go. That's the best way.
And and here's something that you can always do just to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. Especially if you're not hosting. If you're hosting, this is all already under your control. But if you're going to somebody else's house, don't expect them to have good beer. Because a lot of times they don't know what good beer is. And if you're expecting there to be good beer, there probably won't be. And so bring your own. Bring your own beer that you know you like and that you'll enjoy. Maybe bring enough to share, or maybe have some stashed away. And when you get into an especially stressful moment, you think, I have that double cream ale just waiting for me. And you go crack it, and then everything's all right.
Did you just tell everybody to drink their feelings?
Isn't that? I remember that from when you were going through the program.
The holidays are the only acceptable time to do that.
Yes, there you go.
That's what they said.
The holiday #1 coping skill.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And for the next holiday, we'll talk about eggnog.
I love it. Oh, this has been so fun, guys.
Yes,
totally. I want to eat all your food.
I know it. I'm telling you. I think what I might do is just book a plane ticket. And so we'll finish up dinner at my mom's house, and then we'll run up to the San Francisco airport and fly into Eugene. And then I'll be at your house for the leftover second
Well,
seating.
wait. You're doing that in a couple weeks anyways already.
We are. Yes. Yeah. So announcement. We'll be up in Oregon very soon. Middle of Oregon. I think we're coming up. What is it? Maybe second weekend, something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll hit some stuff. There'll be a good time for some more social medias and what have you.
Yeah.
We'll do a bunch of fun stuff and talk about some of those places that we've been meaning to get to.
Yes.
Yes. And then you'll be down here. Oh my goodness. There's so much coming up for
literally you guys will fly home, and then the next day we're driving south.
Yeah. Which is great because I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff I can't take on the plane and put it in your truck.
Yes.
Maybe the trailer.
Well, I think at this point, Nick, where are all the places people can find us?
You can go to hoppytrailspod.com.
Yes, you can.
That will bring us to our link tree. You'll be able to find a means to locate us on whatever podcast platform that you utilize. Although, I'm sure if you're listening already, then you figured that out.
You figured that out.
You'll also find a link to our YouTube, so you can actually watch the video form of our show.
See our hats.
As well as, link to our Instagram. If you haven't been following us there already, find some lovely content, and a link to email us directly. But really, you can just send an email to contact@hoppytrailspod.com. You want to reach out to us.
Yeah, and reach out to us anytime. Send us a trail report. If you found a beer that was especially good, if you're out at a brewery and you want to talk about it, just record a little 30-second up to 2 minutes little trail report. Send it over to us. We love hearing what you're doing out there. Our listeners all love to hear it.
There is not enough of us to go do all of this.
That's it. We can only hit so many places in between episodes. And very realistically, listen, you become a patron, get on the Discord, communicate with us there, send us a message on the DMs and Instagram, shoot us an email, whatever it is. We love to hear from you. We're here for you. If you've got a question or if you just need to hear from somebody, Nick and I love to talk. As you can see, we've been talking for 2.5 to 9 hours so far. It'll be edited down, but reach out to us. We love to hear from you. And with that, I think all there is left to do is remind everybody to always say yes to the Hoppy Ending.
Always say yes.
Always say yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The preceding podcast was produced by Sequoia Productions, LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. If you enjoyed this show and you're looking for more, or even if you're looking for something a little different, check out the other amazing shows by Sequoia Productions, wherever you get your podcasts, or on sequoia.com.
Hoppy trails to brew until we drink again. Hoppy trails to brew. Keep sharing with your friends. Who cares about which IPA tastes better? ABV are just a couple letters. Hoppy trails to brews until we